The lack of evidence for mass graves has forced the U.S. to shift its narrative, now claiming that a crematorium built outside of Damascus could be the key. The U.S. State Department is now claiming that the mass executions are being carried out with the unconditional support of Iran and Russia, and that the Syrian military is hanging detainees en masse and just throwing them all into the crematorium to cover up the evidence. There's no evidence backing these claims up, of course, apart from satellite photos on the outside of the crematorium, and U.S. officials rather just rehashed a series of things they think may well be happening in Syrian prison, including torture and rape, followed up with a speedy execution and disposal. Indeed, the State Department officials conceded that the whole reason they came up with this new statement was because Russia's foreign minister visited the U.S. last week, and the U.S. wanted to reiterate that there needs to be a regime change in Syria despite Russian opposition. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear an appeal of a lower court ruling that struck down North Carolina's voter identification law. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the two-page ruling, noting the court's decision not to hear the case should not be considered a judgment on the case's merits. Roberts wrote, "Given the blizzard of filings over who is and who is not authorized to seek review in this court under North Carolina law, it is important to recall our frequent admonition that the denial of a petition imports no expression of opinions of the merits of the case." The High Court left in place a Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that struck down the controversial 2013 law by North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature and signed by Governor Pat McCrory, also a Republican, who was defeated in November. The judge found that the state's ballot restrictions targeted black voters with almost surgical precision. The legislation restricted voting and registration in 5 ways, which disproportionately affected minority voters, according to the lower court. They required voters to present an approved form of photo identification before casting a valid ballot, cut early voting from 17 to 10 days, eliminated out-of-precinct voting, ended same-day registration and voting, and did not allow pre-registration by 16-year-olds. It would have taken 4 justices to consider the case. Last summer, the justices were divided 4-4 on a request to allow the law to go forward in the election. The state's new governor, Democrat Roy Cooper, has sought to dismiss the appeal. Cooper said in a statement, "Today's announcement is good news for North Carolina voters. We need to be making it easier to vote, not harder, and the court found this law sought to discriminate against African-American voters with surgical precision. I will continue to work to protect the rights of every legal registered North Carolinian to participate in our democratic process." The Southern Coalition for Social Justice and the American Civil Liberties Union also applauded Monday's decision. Del Ho, director of the ACLU's Voting Rights Project, said in a statement, "This law, enacted with what the appeals court called discriminatory intent and almost surgical precision, targeted African-American voters, is meeting its much-deserved demise. An ugly chapter in voting suppression is finally closing." Ballot Access News adds, on May 15th, the U.S. Supreme Court revealed that at its May 11th conference, it had refused to hear all 4 election law cases before it. In addition to the North Carolina case, the court also refused to hear Louisiana Party of Kentucky v. Grimes, thus continuing its 26-year record of refusing all petitions from minor parties and independent candidates that concern election law, unless the major parties were also in the same case. The issue was the state's restrictive definition of political party, one which requires certain support in a presidential race. The court also refused to hear a pair of cases against open primaries brought by the Montana Republican Party and Hawaii Democratic Party. Next week, the Supreme Court may reveal whether it will hear the Republican Party of Louisiana v. FEC case over federal campaign finance laws that inhibit contributions to state and local parties. Soon, it will act on Gill v. Whitford over Wisconsin's partisan legislative gerrymander. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
Yeah.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. And I gotta say, I haven't been following the Trump drama particularly closely. I mean, there's always some sort of buzz about Donald Trump out there in the news, and when he was elected, and certainly during the election season, we paid closer attention. After the election, he remained interesting to me for a little bit, like for a few weeks after the election, maybe even several weeks. I guess on the way through the inauguration, there was all kind of hubbub around, Trump's going to come in there, he's going to clean house, he's going to, he's
drain the swamp,
all that stuff. And he seemed to kind of be on a slightly different trajectory than some of his predecessors.
Yeah, there were things to be sort of, heartening. There were things that were heartening.
Yep, and there were things that were scary, like the fact that he pretty much immediately started doing even more bombings than even Barack Obama, who, of course, had increased the bombings.
The bomber-in-chief.
Over George W. Bush. So, it's been kind of a wild ride so far. We talked the other night about how talk radio has benefited from this, that the Trump bump, as it's been called, has continued through, because normally in talk radio...
Let's hope it doesn't go south and create a Trump slump.
So normally in talk radio, after the election's done, things kind of peter out as far as the ratings are concerned, but that apparently hasn't been the case for just, across the industry. And the headlines today they seem pretty big. This FBI director, you probably heard the news that Trump had fired his FBI director, James Comey, and that hit big I think it was last week when that happened.
Yeah.
I guess pretty unprecedented that happens when the president takes over.
I don't think so.
No?
Didn't Clinton fire his?
But wasn't this his guy? Was Comey his guy, or was he
no, Comey was in
from
ahead
Obama?
Of time. I mean, Trump probably owes his election to Comey.
Is that right?
Because of the memo that was released regarding the Clinton emails.
By the way, joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian
Johnson.
And Mark.
Okay, so what now? How was Comey involved with the emails?
Basically, Comey was investigating the Hillary Clinton email leak thing.
The FBI was, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Comey's the head of the FBI,
Right.
And he, chose to just sort of reopen it just days before the election, which probably shook a few people loose, and the election was decided by very few people.
Well, and then he fired him. And apparently, don't scorn a bureaucrat, because Comey's apparently turning around with some allegations of his own about Donald Trump. And according to the story at the New York Times, the President Trump asked the FBI Director James B. Comey to shut down the federal investigation into Trump's former national security advisor, Michael T. Flynn, in an Oval Office meeting in February, according to a memo that Comey wrote shortly after the meeting. The president told Mr. Comey, quote, "I hope you can let this go," unquote. The existence of Trump's request is the clearest evidence that the president has tried directly to influence the Justice Department and FBI investigation into links between Mr. Trump's associates and Russia. I remember hearing about this Flynn character getting the can as well, and it having something to do with those allegations. But I mean, should anybody be surprised that the president has talked to one of his agents? I mean, he is the head of the executive branch.
Well, it's not that he talked to him. It's what he talked to him about.
Yeah, he said, "I hope you can let this go."
He is the top law enforcement official, I guess the attorney general. Well, anyway, he's one of the top law enforcement officials in America, and you're asking him to ignore the law on a case that you shouldn't be involved in.
I would say that's probably pretty common with presidents and their FBI directors to get them to look the other way on certain things. It could be,
but
the only difference is that this one got caught.
Allegations generally aren't made.
Correct, because they don't generally get fired like this circumstance.
Maybe it was a bad idea to fire him then.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's kind of like one of these things where it's just the timing of firing him, and it's just weird because it's like before he was fired. Everyone on the left was sort of like, he's horrible. Because
he investigated Hillary.
He investigated Hillary, and he really re-released the email. Re-brought that up, and he's responsible for Trump. Kill him. He should be dead. Ah! And then Trump fires him. He's the greatest hero ever in the planet and universe. He should be the charge of everything because he's the greatest man alive.
I will concur with you that there is some duplicity going on.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Comey wrote the memo detailing his conversation with the president immediately after the meeting, which took place the day after Flynn resigned, according to two people who read the memo. The memo was part of a paper trail that Comey created documenting what he perceived as the president's improper efforts to influence a continuing investigation. And FBI agents' contemporaneous notes are widely held up in court as credible evidence of conversation. By the way, the reason for that is because the FBI, as policy, doesn't record their interviews.
Yeah.
So that's why the FBI agents' notes are held up as credible evidence of conversations, because the FBI doesn't produce any other kind of evidence of a conversation. They do not record interviews with suspects. Just thought people should know that.
Right.
Here we are in 2017, where recording technology is ubiquitous.
Right.
Everyone has a recording device on their phone.
These people turn their smartphones off and then ask questions and write down notes with pens.
Right. So if they get it wrong, then you can't challenge that, because unless you made your own record, there is none.
And I suppose you could believe that all FBI agents everywhere are, good, upstanding, honest people that would never tell a lie.
Well, you have only watched television.
You're
if
a
that's
fool.
The case. Yeah.
No, my God. FBI agents are corrupt on TV too. What kind of fool? What level of fool? I think that's what is this a top tier fool that would believe this, or is this is it a couple of levels down? I don't know.
Comey then shared the existence of the memo with senior FBI officials and close associates. New York Times has not viewed a copy of the memo, which is unclassified, but one of Comey's associates read parts of it to a reporter. Trump told Mr. Comey, according to the memo, quote, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. I hope you can let this go." Mr. Trump told...
Very good guy, the best kind of guy. It's just like...
Now, couldn't he have ordered him to let it go? As the head of the executive branch, couldn't he have just simply told him, end this investigation right now?
I don't think so, because the FBI is not a military agency.
No, they're executive.
No, it's executive branch.
That's his branch.
I think he could. It would just be ill-advised.
Comey didn't say anything to Trump about curtailing the investigation, only replying, quote, "I agree, he is a good guy." In a statement, the White House denied the version of the events in the memo. Quote,
That's a good idea.
While the president has repeatedly expressed his view that General Flynn...
sorry, before you go on, actually, the point that you make up is kind of interesting, because the whole, with the whole left going crazy about the, Comey's the best because Trump fired him. Well, when you think about it, it's actually kind of interesting, because whoever replaces Comey is going to still have the duty and authority to pursue the investigation, right? It's not Comey that does the investigating. It's the people beneath Comey. It's the rest of the FBI.
Yeah, but he can put a stop to it.
Yeah, he could have put a stop to it. Trump could have ordered him to do it, but didn't.
Well, the next whoever it is that's next in line presumably will be falling in line, so to speak, and doing as ordered.
That's a very big presumption. It's not the head of the FBI that does the investigations.
That's right.
It's the rest of the FBI. So the investigation is not stopped. It's continuing. Mm-hmm. And it's a big presumption to just assume that whoever is going to be the next head of the FBI is just going to fall into line and make that happen.
Well, I think it's a safe presumption.
I don't think it's that safe of a presumption at all. It's not
Trump's the one who gets to decide who the next guy is, right? He decides that. Why would he decide to hire someone who's not going to be in his camp? Why would he want to hire somebody who's not going to be loyal to Trump?
Him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that 100% follows.
Well, they're saying the deep state is after Trump.
Right.
Now, I'm not entirely clear on what the deep state is, but to me what that means is sort of entrenched government bureaucrats. And, the FBI would fall into that category of entrenched government bureaucrats, right? Like they're there, they're paid, they've got tenure, whatever it is, they're sticking around.
All right, let's continue here. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. Plus, Mark, you're going to tell us about marrying yourself coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is of the opinion that the current Bitcoin core development team is not taking satisfactory steps to ensure the growth and advancement of Bitcoin in accordance with Satoshi's vision. As community efforts to resolve these problems have failed, it is necessary to resolve them with a different approach. By using subreddit r/BTC instead of r/Bitcoin and running Bitcoin Unlimited, you are casting a vote against the current development team. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Would Trump marry himself? We'll get into the self-marriage concept here Mark, you've got a story about that coming up. It's Ian Johnson and Mark in the studio, and we invite you to join us here. And you can bring up anything that's on your mind. Our Skype username, by the way, is lrn.fm. And whether you have Bitcoin or Ether or Dash or a few other of the different, there's actually several cryptos now. I was looking at the Jax lineup, and there was some in there that I didn't even recognize.
Some names I don't even know.
So you go to jax.io. You can get the official wallet of Free Talk Live, jaxx.io. It's got Shapeshift integration in there. So if you're like a lot of people right now are kind of a little concerned about the future of Bitcoin, you maybe want to shift some of that Bitcoin into something else, like Ether or Dash. You can easily do that because it's got Shapeshift integration built right into the wallet. It was created by Anthony DiOrio, who's a Free Talk Live listener and one of the founders of Ethereum. He made it easy to back up your wallet and recover your funds with Jax. I know that that's true because I just recovered my funds to a brand new phone. Well, new to me at least. Jax is striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live. Go get yours at the Google or Apple App Store, or just go to jaxx.io because it is available for Windows as well as Linux and Mac, plus browser plugins, plus Android and iOS devices. So plenty of different ways to get access to your cryptocurrency with Jax, jaxx.io. A little bit more coming up here about Trump. Then we'll get into marrying yourself, and whatever is on your mind goes as we go to the phones, to the fun. Let's talk to Stefan in Ohio. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Stefan.
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is earlier I was discussing race with somebody, and I wanted to know your thoughts on this. They said that all white people, by definition, are racists because we live within a system that apparently oppresses blacks. And since we are raised to believe that blacks are inferior from a young age, all white people are racist. I want to know what you think of that.
Well, I don't know how they were raised, but that wasn't how I was raised.
Wasn't how I was raised either.
Well, their argument was since the system is so against blacks, we're all accustomed to seeing them treated worse, so therefore we treat them worse without even realizing it.
Okay, well, that first of all, what he's describing doesn't have anything to do with racism. Racism is the belief that one race is somehow inferior to another race.
Well, clearly the blacks are superior because they're not racist.
Well, obviously there are black racists.
Well, that's what the guy is saying, right? I mean, he's
is he saying
but
that?
he can't be a racist because he's black. So
wait, is this person
that's the way
black?
modern society. That's the way modern society works now. It's black people can't be racist, but all whites are racist. That's how it works now.
Well, what he said is black people can't be racist because they're not in enough of a majority.
And he's a black guy.
Yeah, because they're not part of the institution. So therefore, you just need to watch the movie Dear White People. It'll explain everything to you. You just need to watch Dear White People, and then you'll understand how racist you are if you're white. Yeah. And you should just kill yourself, basically. That's actually the only way. That's the solution. Yeah, just kill yourself, and then you'll be, you'll be repairing for all the damage that you've done by being born. Because you're a horrible person because you were actually born white, and therefore you're inferior because you're racist because you were born that way.
I suppose it comes back to the question, do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country?
Define systemic.
Like, do you believe that blacks are indeed treated worse in the justice system?
I'm racist because I don't feel like I'm a part of it. So I'm clearly not the right person to ask, because I'm very much racist, because when you ask me that question, I go, I don't care, because I can't really do anything about it other than their stupid solution of, like, I should just kill myself. Well, I don't believe that I partake in it. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people that would want me to, do everything in my power to try and change it, but I am. I want to get rid of the federal government. So I'm doing what I can to change that by getting rid of the system most responsible for the racism, which is the United States federal government, which unfortunately a lot of people of color think is going to help them, when in fact it's the system that is most responsible for the institutionalized racism. And it's a lot of African American and people of other minority cultures that are responsible for a lot of the policies that are the most racist and damaging to their people.
Well, yeah, they're willing to sell their people down the river for their own benefit.
Well, yeah, but they also, I mean, a lot of times, and this is true of liberal ideologies as well, is that they want to institute policies which are harmful to them. Like, I don't know, maybe the minimum wage, for example.
Yeah, this much is true. So I'm reminded of the story of the black judge with the black bailiff and the black officer and the black defendant. I mean, this has certainly happened in the United States.
Isn't there
right?
a meme about that?
Yeah, there's, it's a story and probably apocryphal.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's a picture, right? It's a picture of a black judge, a black bailiff officer type guy, and a black defendant. They're in a courtroom and basically saying, decisions matter, right? Like it's about decisions. I would say that yes, it is better to be white in America than to be black, right? Like if you got to pick one of those things, that it is probably true that there is something called white privilege. But I also think there's something called like sort of gender privilege, garment privilege. There's class privilege. There's all kinds of privileges that sort of get wrapped in, and people don't talk about when they talk about other privileges. So the way you choose to dress, the way you choose to talk to people, the way you look them in the eye or choose not to, whatever, all those things go into how you're going to be treated. I was in prison with a vastly outnumbered black to white, but one of the highest positions in the prison was held by a black man. I mean, I don't know that race really came into it. There were certainly some racist guards, that's for sure, and it must have really rankled them to have to work for a black captain, but they did. And I would suspect, and I've heard this many times, that, well, there's the terminology they would use, he's not an N-word, he's a black man, right? Like they make a distinction between these two things. Now, that's not a term that I would use in mixed company any longer, but it was certainly used there at that time.
Yeah.
And I see both sides of this. I think that there's a great deal of hyperbole going on in the statements that were made by the gentleman with whom you spoke today, but one thing's for certain, you can't walk a mile in his shoes. However, how far is he going to get calling everybody a bigot? I got a quote here from W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a very important black man in the early 20th century. Poets were much more important back in the day, but he writes, there's another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public, having learned that they are able to make a living out of their trouble.
People like Jesse Jackson.
Well, you can assign it to whomever you wish. They have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want the sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs.
My thought is that the word privilege is used by entitled people who are entitled to make excuses for the fact that different levels of opportunity doesn't matter. You can still get somewhere.
Lifetime Gray's 100% grass-fed beef has the health benefits you seek. When compared to conventional beef, it offers good fats while virtually eliminating the bad. That's the result of cattle who never eat grain, ever. Rich in antioxidants, including vitamin E, C, beta-carotene, and CLA. No artificial hormones, antibiotics, or other drugs. For all our fresh, non-cooked products with only 100% grass-fed beef, go to MidasResources.com. Use voucher code GCN to get 30% off your order. MidasResources.com, or find us on Facebook.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With a ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Free Talk Live.
I told him, look, there is one place we can agree, and that is our belief that the Creator is the most sacred and clean and holy essence we know about. And he goes, yup. And I led him through a bunch of yups. Hearing, sight, yup. And then I said, and the last thing that I can think of is sacred. It's our sexuality. You could hear a pin drop. And he had been queer-bashing up a storm. And I simply said to him, you know, folks who think they're having an argument with their neighbor's sexuality are actually having an argument with the Creator who made us this way. And that's when he started screaming at me.
Wow.
Because you can't really be a follower of Buddha or Jesus or Moses and be a queer-basher.
Free Talk Live. 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind. All you have to do is dial in toll-free to take control of these airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. And Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. If you're buying Bitcoin, you can do that through Bitcoin.com. Maybe you're brand new and you want to learn about Bitcoin. This is a great place to go for the newbies. And whether you're experienced, you're going to find useful information, including the news section over at Bitcoin.com. Maybe you want to keep up to date with what the latest situation is with the geek war behind the scenes in Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com's been reporting on that. And it's an ugly, ugly circumstance. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't learn about Bitcoin and possibly still get involved in it. You can go to Bitcoin.com to learn a lot more about Bitcoin. It's a one-stop shop for everything that you need to get into Bitcoin life. And there are no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. You can learn more over at Bitcoin.com. And you can even play games with your Bitcoin at games.bitcoin.com. All right, so back to your calls and thoughts. Johnson, you were driving at a point about getting somewhere in life. I wanted to bring Stefan back on with us because he kind of called in to ask a question, but we haven't really gotten his opinion on this. So go ahead, Johnson.
Sure, yeah, I was just saying that I think that people who use that term privileged are just... They're entitled, and they're using that term privilege to make an excuse for themselves to sort of basically make excuses for their inability to
compete.
to compete and to get somewhere, in life based on the fact that so people have different levels of opportunity, but everyone of every race and every at least in the United States, has an opportunity to make changes and get somewhere in life, and as long
as the government isn't standing in their way, which is, of course, a lot of the time what prevents people from getting somewhere. A lot of times, people of any race, people of any race, any level of physical ability, have made it. Regardless of coming from poor circumstances. Yeah. There are people that have made it. If they have enough drive, they do it. And yes, people do start from different rungs of the ladder, so to speak. Sure, and it's going to be hard whether you are poor and black or poor and white.
Right.
Now, you would agree that the color's a factor, right? Like the race is a factor.
It can be a factor.
Yeah, I would say I'd say it's a factor too. Yep. I just don't think
it's not an excuse.
It's not the deal-killing factor. So I'm a convicted felon, right?
That's a pretty big factor.
That's something that somebody could just go ahead and say, you know what? I'm not going to be able to succeed. I might as well go get a job, doing construction work, or
give up,
or go get on welfare, or commit more crimes and go back to jail. When you talk about adult criminals, in many cases, more than 75% of people who have A letters, what we call A letters in Florida prison. But people that are going to go back, they do. They just give up and they go back, and that's because that's
life
what they
on
know
the installment plan
and that sort of thing. However, or you can make a decision and say, I'm going to make this.
Yeah.
It's going to happen for me.
People who whine about other people's privilege have too much free time on their hands. Worry about your own, how you're going to get past, whatever your supposed disadvantages are.
I'm reminded of a friend who's an immigrant, showed up in the United States with $100 in their pocket. Now, this story is not unusual, right? There's plenty of people who have shown up in this country with some meager amount of money, and they made something wonderful for themselves, because an immigrant in many cases wants to come here and work their butt off for the American dream. They've been told about the American dream their whole lives. There's no opportunity for it in their home country. Here they come, they make something incredible happen. And this immigrant with whom I spoke, this is not me saying anything, this is what he, in speaking to him about the notion
You're talking about the founder of Cell 411.
Black privilege, right? He said, BS. Mm-hmm. I showed up in this country with $100 in my pocket, and I made things happen. Now, he would be widely considered white, but he has a strong accent, so people know immediately he's not American. But he's made a really pretty comfortable life for himself. I tend to think that the lack of privilege that an immigrant has is probably pretty similar to the lack of privilege that, somebody of an ethnic minority has or whatever, and maybe it's worse. So
could be.
And we can certainly see people like Oprah. People can do it.
We've seen people who are let's look at Hispanic immigrants. We've seen examples where the people who've come here legally and have jumped through all the hoops have discriminated against those who are also Hispanic but did not come here legally. And so, they even get people looking down their nose at them from within their race as well. So you talk about how hard it is as an immigrant. That's another example.
Look, many people who want to have, want to talk about race would agree that they would like to reach a future where we don't have to talk about race.
I agree. I wish I could be there tomorrow.
Of that. But the question is that, I'm willing to acknowledge privilege, but we need to quantify privilege in order to acknowledge it. You can't just say, there's privilege, and then, every excuse in the book. No, that's not going to do it.
I know, Stefan, you'd called in to ask us about this because someone had a conversation with you today, but I just wanted to see if you wanted to weigh in with an opinion here because we've been yammering on.
Well, it's completely fine to yammer on, but when he had spoken to me, whenever somebody uses the term white privilege, I think they are misinterpreting white privilege as, like class privilege. I see it more as that because it is a known fact in the United States, people of ethnic minorities make less money. And that's not true across the board. Of course, there are plenty of black people that make a ton more money than my family ever could. But the fact of the matter is, on average, they make less money. They are in the lower class. Therefore, I feel like that is why they think that we have a higher privilege, because typically white people do make it out a little bit better.
But I don't disagree. Yeah.
And The thing is, if there was one type of privilege, you had spoken about gender privilege. I do think that exists when you look at the punishments females get, for example, as compared to males.
The punishments?
Yes.
In criminal punishment.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got the peeing upgrade, so there you go. You have to deal with it.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Stefan. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Before we go on with more of your calls, I did want to point out or ask this question about privilege. Okay, so let's accept that there is such a thing, right? Let's accept that you as a white male have privilege. Well, what do you propose to do about it exactly? What are you just going to whine about it, or do you want the government to come in and somehow, deprivilegize the people who supposedly have this privilege? Is that going to somehow is breaking people down or bringing them down somehow going to lift the others up? Because I don't think that it would.
I'm going to go back to just calling it an advantage. I'm kind of going to refuse to use that term privilege.
Okay, whatever you want to call
advantage.
it. What are
people
they proposing?
Advantages and disadvantages.
I hear people complaining about it all the time, whether it's, somebody complaining about white man's privilege or white people's privilege or whatever, you fill in the blank. What is it that they want to see happen? Reparations? I mean, what...
Dave Chappelle did an excellent piece on reparations. Do you remember that piece where the gentleman that the vast majority of the reparations in a particular neighborhood went to a man known only as Tron? Like what he suggested was that reparations would probably not do anything in the long term.
Of course not.
But I can tell you right now, Jamaica is asking for reparations from England.
Like any subsidy, it would just be, pissed away by those who received it, for the most part.
So if we want to talk about things that are historical, well, I'm reasonably certain that the vast majority of people who would self-identify as white probably came from the lower classes, the serfs. Remember, in the 1820s, 85% of Americans lived below the poverty level. I can only presume that is up from, the 16th century or the 15th century when we have vassal lords and that sort of thing. Should these, these families of these lords and dukes and barons, should all those people give all their money to the families of the serfs? And what about if they've mixed? Do you give money to yourself? How does that go? My wife is partially black. I'm partially black. Do I get anything? Because that's ridiculous.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You're welcome to comment on whatever you want. Free Talk Live.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-940-9829. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-940-9829. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-940-9829. That's 1-800-940-9829.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Angioprim can unclog blocked arteries and improve blood flow in all parts of your body. Angioprim is oral chelation. Easy, simple, liquid oral chelation. You take it with juice before breakfast and forget about it. Angioprim works fast, unlike old-fashioned chelation that takes hours. Just log on to angioprim.com. That's Angioprim, ANGIOPRIM, angioprim.com. Angioprim users say they have more energy, more strength, more endurance. Increased circulation and blood flow will make all your body parts work better. Log on to angioprim.com to get more information on how you can get started and start feeling better, having fun, and doing more again. Lots more. Talk to a trained Angioprim consultant. Call Angioprim toll-free at 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221. Or log on for complete information. Angioprim.com. That's angioprim.com. Find out how Angioprim can work for you. Get the facts about Angioprim at angioprim.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Tonight, in studio, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
We have Skype. You can Skype on in here at username lrn.fm. So feel free to do that and take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want to discuss. Still to come, the marrying yourself story that Mark wanted to share. We'll get into that. But first, to the phones, to the fun. Let's talk to Spence in California, listening online. Hello, Spence.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
I just wanted to add that the privilege thing is a little tricky because we're kind of judged on the borders we're born in, and it doesn't seem to be fair. Would you agree with that?
When you say borders, do you mean like geopolitical borders?
Well, yes. These Jamaicans were born in a border, and, you know, you're not chosen, or maybe we do choose where we're born, but it doesn't seem that it's fair that the system is designed to specific geographic locations.
Right. So
does that make sense?
Yeah, one would say that people that are born in the United States are luckier than people who are born in, say, Papua New Guinea.
That is exactly correct. Yeah. Right.
North Korea.
Right. And if we're choosing that in a realm before this, then I understand. That's what you chose to live. But we don't know that.
Right. I would say we'd have to operate as though we didn't make that decision. We'd have to live in this world as though no one made the decision as to where they were born. Whether, you know, from a spiritual standpoint, you may choose to believe it, but you know, from a sort of a reality that we're dealing with right now, I would say we'd have to presume that that wasn't the case. One thing that I would say is that, you know, being born in the United States, I think, gives somebody a sense of entitlement. Like, there's jobs that I probably would have refused to do at any point in my life. There's certainly jobs I would refuse to do now for the pay that I would refuse to do them. Like, I'll go out and I'll pick oranges with the migrant workers if you pay me $300,000 a year to do it. But they're not going to. So there are...
Well, maybe you pay off the orange that you pick. However many oranges you pick, you
That's
will
how
get paid
it works.
off
Yeah,
that.
I would have to be a pick and mamma jamma in order to get $300,000 a year down there, and that's just probably not going to happen. So,
what were you driving at with
what
that
I'm
point?
trying to say is that Americans are born with a sense of entitlement, and that in and of itself is a like a sort of a detriment to doing well. If you're born with a sense of entitlement in a lower class, and we're all born naked with nothing, then if you get that sense of entitlement, then you're not going to work as hard as I'm I'm reminded of my friends that are immigrants and ones that I've read stories about, and these guys and women tend to work very, very hard.
Oh, I would agree, but I do believe there could be a system to where everyone's given a certain amount of monetary value in their life, and if you spend it, then you don't get any more. But what you choose to do with it, then that's up to you. But it should be that everyone gets a fair chance.
Are you saying there should be some sort of one-time welfare check to everyone?
Oh, yes. You're born on this earth, and if we chose to be here, then great. But if we didn't, and we're aware of this monetary system, and we are aware that it is rigged, then we should be able to each contribute to the earth, because we all have a contribution. We all do something. Everyone could do something.
What does that have to do with getting everyone a welfare check?
Well, why shouldn't you be able to? Why? Because your parents decided to make you, that you are denied certain funds because of where you live and who your parents are.
So what do you think? You think it should be like a universal, the same amount for everyone everywhere in the world, or should it break down by country, or what?
No. Everyone should say $50,000 that you get when you turn a certain age, when you're cognitive enough to.
Everyone everywhere in the world should receive $50,000 US.
Well, why not? We just make the money. It's not about money. Yes, we can just make it, and it's a system. It would work. But right
so do you
now,
think if we made that money, that $50,000 would still be worth $50,000 that it is now?
If you stop spending it on, I bet you could do just what he suggests by cutting the military budget for 1 year.
Oh, of course. The military budget is very devious.
Just a guess. I mean,
so you could,
it might be 2.
50,000 times like $6 billion. Okay.
Well, and it kind of connects to my
I don't know. I'd have to do the math. And the fact is that the government's $20 trillion in debt right now. What have you got for it? Probably not a lot.
That is all a facade. That is not true. They could fix that easily.
They could fix
it. The Federal Reserve and the Treasury are in control of this.
You mean they could fix it by printing the money to pay the debt?
You can't. The Federal Reserve can't print money to pay itself,
because then it increases the debt whenever they.
However,
print
the
money.
U.S. Mint is controlled by the Treasury, so the Mint could mint coins.
They could mint $1 trillion coin or something like that.
They could make $20 trillion coins, make them out of platinum, to be fair, right? And then you throw those at the Federal Reserve, and then,
here you go.
And then the debt's
Well, you
paid.
just have to put your value on which resource you'd like. You're still putting value on gold, and what is gold doing to keep you alive?
Not much, but it does. It is good for some medical devices and some electronics.
Yes, it does help us. Yes, of course. But
so I just want to make sure I'm clear on the proposal here. Your proposal is everyone everywhere in the world should receive $50,000 on a one-time basis. Once they reach a certain age, they would then be able to do whatever it is they want with that. And if they squander it, then they don't get any more. And if they spend it or invest it wisely, they don't get any more. That's the end of the handouts, is what you're saying?
Exactly right. There's no harm.
Well, I would say that the sense of charity, and I'm using air quotes on this, the sense of charity that would have us give that $50,000 to every individual would probably also preclude us from never giving the ones that, the spendthrifts, the gamblers, the drinkers, and all the rest of them that blow through their money. I mean, you're gonna give everybody $50,000 and then let them starve on the street if they blow the money.
By the way, I don't think the United States military has the budget of $300 quadrillion.
There you go. I mean, you're right. They don't. Thanks for the math.
It's infinite, gentlemen. They're just making the money.
That's true, but all you're going to do if you print a whole bunch of it is devalue the current.
If you
devalue the currency.
$400 quadrillion, or you digitally create $400 quadrillion and give everyone 50,000. Guess what money becomes worth? Nothing.
No, that's what they do. That's why they don't audit the Fed. You see,
I see.
They're missing 16 trillion, and it's all digits. It's all imaginary numbers.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand
They don't have
that.
anything in the vault.
And it's been made
there's
clear
nothing
to me
in the
now.
vault.
Spence, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate the discussion. At the very
I'm
least,
so sorry for my ignorance on this topic.
Yeah.
Good job with
explain
whipping out the calculator.
Let's
by the way.
explain here, Johnson, what you did there. You took 50,000, you multiplied it times the world's population.
Well,
7
almost. The world's population is actually about 7 billion. But like, I just kind of
some of them aren't going to get it, right?
I took out $1 billion and said, maybe not people from the United States.
So you did 6 billion.
Yeah, I did 6 billion.
50,000.
Yeah, in Western Europe or something like that.
Yeah.
There's something called Georgianism. Geoism. The idea is that it's an economic philosophy holding that while people should own the value they produce themselves, so it's libertarian in that aspect, economic value derived from the land, including natural resources and natural opportunity, should belong equally to all members of society. So the idea is you're born on the planet, no one can actually own the planet itself, and that we all sort of own the planet equally. So, I think this is interesting. Libertarians hold that there are essentially two creators of value, land and people. Geoism holds that the creator of value in people, you own your own value that you create, but the land itself is collectively owned by all humans. Now, I'm not exactly sure where bears and birds and beavers fit into all this. It seems like they, if you're going to say people, everything owns everything, then fine. What about the beavers?
So even if you were to stick to our caller's program just in the United States at 300 million, you're looking at $15 trillion.
For giving everybody $50,000.
Giving everybody $50,000.
In where? What?
In the United States.
Just in the United
States. That'd be 300 million payouts.
So essentially,
some people have 50,000 already.
Yeah, well, I mean, essentially what you just did also, by the way, is kind of like the equation for what the national debt currently is.
Right.
Everyone's share is negative $50,000. So essentially the government took $50,000 rather than giving it.
Right. And well, if you think about the bank bailout, wouldn't America have been far better off if rather than dumping all the money that they dumped into basically it went it was, call it $10 trillion. If they would have taken this, call it $5 trillion instead of the bank bailout, they would have just gone ahead and given that money to Americans. I mean, you would have seen a great deal of mobility, velocity in the currency at that moment, right? Everybody's going to go out and buy stuff. Some people are going to buy scratcher tickets. Mm-hmm. Other people are going to go out and buy cigarettes. And
cocaine.
Other people are going to buy a car. Some people are going to invest in a house.
Yep.
Some people are going to start a business. Some people are going to get a big screen TV. But you'd see a lot of velocity and money.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We got hour number 2 coming up. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
Everyone has something in their lives or just about themselves that they want to change, from trying to lose weight to becoming more motivated at work. Change is difficult, but the good news is no matter what, you don't have to go through it alone. Hypnotherapy can help you remove negative subconscious thoughts that keep you from achieving your goals. Never rely on just willpower again. Contact us at afterhourshypnotherapy.com today for your free consultation. Or contact Melvin Marsh at 678-658-8483.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, May 16th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,234 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,742. Antiwar.com reports U.S. officials have long insisted that Syria's Assad government is carrying out mass executions of detainees throughout the civil war, but the lack of evidence for mass graves has forced the U.S. to shift its narrative, now claiming that a crematorium built outside of Damascus could be the key. The U.S. State Department is now claiming that the mass executions are being carried out with the unconditional support of Iran and Russia, and that the Syrian military is hanging detainees en masse and just throwing them all into the crematorium to cover up the evidence. There's no evidence backing these claims up, of course, apart from satellite photos on the outside of the crematorium, and U.S. officials rather just rehashed a series of things they think may well be happening in Syrian prison, including torture and rape, followed up with a speedy execution and disposal. Indeed, the State Department officials conceded that the whole reason they came up with this new statement was because Russia's foreign minister visited the U.S. last week, and the U.S. wanted to reiterate that there needs to be a regime change in Syria despite Russian opposition. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear an appeal of a lower court ruling that struck down North Carolina's voter identification law. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the two-page ruling, noting the court's decision not to hear the case should not be considered a judgment on the case's merits. Roberts wrote, "Given the blizzard of filings over who is and who is not authorized to seek review in this court under North Carolina law, it is important to recall our frequent admonition that the denial of a petition imports no expression of opinions of the merits of the case." The High Court left in place a Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that struck down the controversial 2013 law by North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature and signed by Governor Pat McCrory, also a Republican, who was defeated in November. The judge found that the state's ballot restrictions targeted black voters with almost surgical precision. The legislation restricted voting and registration in 5 ways, which disproportionately affected minority voters, according to the lower court. They required voters to present an approved form of photo identification before casting a valid ballot, cut early voting from 17 to 10 days, eliminated out-of-precinct voting, ended same-day registration and voting, and did not allow pre-registration by 16-year-olds. It would have taken 4 justices to consider the case. Last summer, the justices were divided 4-4 on a request to allow the law to go forward in the election. The state's new governor, Democrat Roy Cooper, has sought to dismiss the appeal. Cooper said in a statement, "Today's announcement is good news for North Carolina voters. We need to be making it easier to vote, not harder, and the court found this law sought to discriminate against African-American voters with surgical precision. I will continue to work to protect the rights of every legal registered North Carolinian to participate in our democratic process." The Southern Coalition for Social Justice and the American Civil Liberties Union also applauded Monday's decision. Del Ho, director of the ACLU's Voting Rights Project, said in a statement, "This law, enacted with what the appeals court called discriminatory intent and almost surgical precision targeted African-American voters, is meeting its much-deserved demise. An ugly chapter in voting suppression is finally closing. Ballot Access News adds on May 15th, the U.S. Supreme Court revealed that at its May 11th conference, it had refused to hear all 4 election law cases before it. In addition to the North Carolina case, the court also refused to hear Louisiana Party of Kentucky v. Grimes, thus continuing its 26-year record of refusing all petitions from minor parties and independent candidates that concern election law, unless the major parties were also in the same case. The issue was the state's restrictive definition of political party, one which requires certain support in a presidential race. The court also refused to hear a pair of cases against open primaries brought by the Montana Republican Party and Hawaii Democratic Party. Next week, the Supreme Court may reveal whether it will hear the Republican Party of Louisiana v. FEC case over federal campaign finance laws that inhibit contributions to state and local parties. Soon it will act on Gill v. Whitford over Wisconsin's partisan legislative gerrymander. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
U.S. officials assure Hong Kong that their protest is just one of many issues the White House is staying silent on, and an old guy at a hostel is down to party. This is The Onion Week in Review. Stunned officials from the Marine Conservation Institute announced this week that the past half-century of climate change and habitat loss somehow hasn't managed to take down the and parrotfish. Biologists stress that despite destructive chemical runoff, rising ocean temperatures, and overfishing, the persistent little shits were somehow plugging right along like nothing had even happened.
You look at the oil spills, greenhouse gases, and God knows what else we're throwing at them, and you think, yeah, those subtropical should have been wiped out decades ago. But nope, these sons of bitches are still around and doing better than ever.
In other news, a grasshopper is dismembered by a future Supreme Court justice. A man having a great time will soon have to apologize to everyone, and Rand Paul pretends to be asleep so his dad will carry him in from the car.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you may take control of the airwaves here and bring up whatever is on your mind. 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE, and you can join us online. Just go to freetalklive.com, get interactive there, and enjoy all the features completely free. Now, we're going to go to more of your calls and thoughts. Then coming up, Mark, you're going to tell us about marrying yourself, and we'll get into that. Plus, you can bring up anything you want. Let's go to Skype, where Clayton is on the line. Clayton, are you with us?
I am, yes.
Excellent. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to start being your chronic caller from Oklahoma. There's never a lack of fun things going on in this state.
Oh, yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah. So our state's going broke. It's like California all over again. That's largely because the government's tax base is made up of oil and gas producing taxes and sales tax. So both of those tax sources are dwindling, right? Internet sales are damaging sales tax.
Right. Internet's kicking malls' butts, and so therefore they're not getting a piece of the internet action.
And gas is down as far as its price per barrel, the oil or whatever? Is that what's affecting the other taxes?
That's it. Yeah, it's up a few dollars this week, but overall it's way down.
So what you're saying is Oklahoma's kind of like the Venezuela of the United States?
Oh, that seems a bit harsh.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, our government's heavily dependent on oil and gas production. Taxes. It's the only place in the country where people will complain if gas prices are too low.
That's interesting.
That being said, our state government is looking for all kinds of ways to cut prices because we're also a very Republican state. Yes. So nobody actually wants to raise taxes, right? Mm-hmm. So cut, which is something I kind of agree with, right? Let's cut everything away. So there's a state representative who is floating an idea to reduce cost of public education by having teachers report non-English speaking students to ICE.
Oh, gosh.
How's that going to cut the cost of education?
There'll be fewer students.
Yeah, he estimated there's about 82,000 English as a second language students in the state. So of course, if 82,000 students are reported to ICE, that's 82,000 less students in the state if their parents are deported, right?
Sure, and that also means 160,000 fewer parents being deported, and then therefore they won't be feeding they won't be feeding the system by working in a job, and that'll be bad for their taxes, won't it?
I wonder if you're going to go after education, it seems like there's better, more effective ways to make huge cuts.
Yeah, this isn't a huge cut. This is just nibbling around the edges, even if they did do what they're talking about.
Right. They're not going to have a huge savings because of this. I mean, how many? Right. And also, you're asking teachers to get themselves fired because to save money, you got to fire teachers, and if they get 82,000 fewer students, then you divide that by 25, and that's how many fewer teachers you'd have, or whatever.
So from practically, it's crazy. The way it hits headlines is terrible, right? Because it's a targeted attack against a particular population, which is insane. And then thirdly, school taxes schools are actually funded in this state by property taxes. So it doesn't even make sense.
It's not the state's budget; it's the town budget.
Right. So we'll have fewer homes that are occupied, paying property taxes, funding the school system. So it's all around just a completely crazy, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sounds that way.
Proposal. And this guy, you've heard of him before. He is the same state rep that adamantly actually put in and then adamantly supported the Ten Commandments monument on our state capitol.
There's a few.
Didn't that get
those.
Run into by a Satanist or something like that? What was this?
Yeah. It got ran into by a person calling himself a Satanist. I don't know if he actually was, but that was the.
Or no, wasn't it like a Christian who said that Satan had taken him over or something like that and forced him to do it? I think the guy was just a little insane and trolling at the same time. And then there was a moratorium placed on putting any sort of new religious structures at the state capitol.
That's right. Yeah. Lots of money wasted in that entire ordeal.
For sure.
So,
all right. Well, that's a good story. Anything else you want to share tonight, Clayton?
I'll tell you one other way that the state is trying to recover some of its lost tax base. They struck a deal with Amazon to start collecting and remitting sales tax on sales that happen on Amazon. Yeah, so now I have to pay sales tax on Amazon purchases. Some jurisdictions in our state, that's 10%. Some, so that's
SaveItPurse.com.
That opened up a big opportunity for me to talk to friends about SaveItPurse.com and talk about Bitcoin, right? Because I'm like, hey, you don't want to pay sales tax? I mean,
what's the sales tax there?
It depends on your city. It's anywhere from 8.5% to 10%.
Wow.
So the Purse instant discount becomes like a 15% discount immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, don't forget shop.freetalklive.com if they want to use cash.
Yeah, but then they got to pay the tax.
They do have to pay a tax?
Yeah, shop.freetalklive.com just takes you to Amazon, Mark.
Yeah, but
he just said that Amazon's now going to charge sales tax in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So another reason to move to New Hampshire. There is no state sales tax in New Hampshire. For those who care about freedom, you ought to make it up here. Hey, Clayton, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Feel free to continue to update us as the fiscal situation in Oklahoma deteriorates, because they're not going to be able to solve the problem with these little minor tweaks that they're making. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. You can Skype on in here at username LRN.FM. And, of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. We had talked earlier tonight about this James Comey guy, the FBI director fired by Donald Trump. Well, Comey is shooting back now with a release of what he claims was a conversation, but of course, because he's an FBI agent, he took notes and didn't actually record the conversation, so Comey can't really prove what it is that he's saying, which is probably why the White House has released this statement denying Comey's version of events, where Comey says that Trump basically suggested that he drop the case or the investigation into Mr. Michael Flynn, who was previously the national security advisor who had resigned amidst some controversy regarding contacting Russian diplomats or whatever it was, something about being connected to Russia. And so Comey said that Trump had, in a somewhat closed meeting, said, quote, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go," Trump said. "He's a good guy. I hope you can let this go." Now, this is the memo from, or this is a statement from the White House denying what Comey has said. The White House says, quote, "While the president has repeatedly expressed his view that General Flynn is a decent man who served and protected our country, the president has never asked Mr. Comey or anyone else to end any investigation, including any investigation involving General Flynn. The president has utmost respect for our law enforcement agencies and all investigations. This is not a truthful or accurate portrayal of the conversation between the president and Mr. Comey." So the question is, who's telling a lie? Is it Comey, or is it the White House? Or is the White House just dodging the truth with this sort of carefully worded press release? Because if you go by what Comey says, Trump didn't ask him to end the investigation. He said he hopes he can see the way clear to letting this go. "I hope you can let this go" is not the same thing as saying, "Please stop this," or "I need you to stop this."
Well, right? I think it is the same thing. It's just a
not in legal land,
smarmy little way of getting around it.
Well, that's legal land for you, though. They are very careful with the words that they say. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, marrying yourself. Mark's going to tell us about that.
Bitcoin.com recently reported Bitcoin transaction fees have increased by more than 1,200% since 2015. To many Bitcoin proponents, the current fee market is moving way too fast, making Bitcoin unusable for certain transactions. The fee market and slow confirmation times have also increased the tension concerning the block size debate. However, if there are wallets with low amounts of Bitcoin that can't cover the fees, they become virtually unspendable. Learn more at news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com.
Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL.
Aging is one thing that affects everyone. George has talked about the power of stem cells for years. Now, there's a new serum that harnesses that stem cell power to bring back your youthful look. Beverly Hills doctor Nathan Newman.
Stem cells are basically our fountain of youth. This is what maintains our body's reparative, regenerative abilities. As we age, every cell breaks down and needs to be replaced, and what replaces it is the stem cell.
Dr. Newman and Janess have developed Lumin-S. Lumin-S takes the science of stem cells, using the same growth factor complex that literally heals our cells, slowing the appearance of the aging process. Apply Lumin-S twice daily, and on average, see results in a week. Learn more, watch our video, and order today at a special Coast website, healthylooking.com. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's healthylooking.com. Lumin-S, for a healthier, much younger, better-looking you. Buy now at healthylooking.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us online anytime. Just head on over to freetalklive.com. Coming up, Mark will tell us about marrying yourself. And we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. Plus, an open letter to the Bitcoin miners out there, Mark, that you said was really interesting. Because there's a problem behind the scenes in Bitcoin, and it is an ugly, nasty problem.
And I think a lot of people have just sort of lost objectivity around it. Now, that's what people who have lost objectivity say, right? Like other people.
Someone who's lost objectivity would admit to having lost it?
No. They would say that other people have lost objectivity.
I see.
People are going to say that, as a matter of fact, I was called a shill for Roger Ver. I think it was yesterday.
Hey, all right.
Well,
he does pay us to talk
I
about
think we might
Bitcoin.com.
even be, but he's never told us what to say.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
He's only said advertise bitcoin.com.
So we came up with the copy? We came up with the...
I created the copy.
Okay.
The copy the copy came off of bitcoin.com's website.
I see.
But
he didn't instruct you to do anything.
He did not.
Okay.
When we got the copy, we also read it in sort of the third person. Bitcoin.com says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
We are not bitcoin.com.
I don't have any tangible advantages to promoting Roger Ver's, or Bitcoin Unlimited's version of things, and I came to that conclusion entirely on my own. I could absolutely get on these airwaves and say, absolutely, what is it, SegWit all the way. I could do that if I wanted to, but it's awful.
Well, I've said I don't know. My position is I really don't know what the best answer is. I just want something to happen.
Well, wait a second. Bitcoin Unlimited does not preclude SegWit,
right?
The segregated witness.
I understand that.
So,
but right now, Bitcoin Unlimited is not adopting SegWit, and SegWit is not adopting a larger block size. So right now, both of those camps are firmly in their camps, and they're just sitting it out.
I think that if Bitcoin Unlimited did adopt SegWit, that it would probably slow momentum. That would have to be done after.
We can get into all this later. We got Bitcoin coming up when we get the chance.
Have you ever noticed how you feel sluggish and tired after a big meal? That's because your body's enzymes are prioritizing the digestion of food. That's why many people take digestive enzyme supplements. A quality enzyme supplement that contains a full array of enzymes will help digest all 3 macronutrients. That's protein, fat, and carbs. This means that more energy for you and improved weight management over time. Some nutritional experts even feel a digestive enzyme supplement is more important than a vitamin mineral supplement. But with Whole Food Multi-Complete, You don't have to choose. Whole Food Multi-Complete includes both vitamins, minerals, and digestive enzymes in a single product. Not only that, they also include 5 other classes of nutrients, a total of 54 nutrients. For 15 years, Whole Food Multi-Complete has combined digestive enzymes, vitamins and minerals, probiotics, antioxidants, herbal immune support, and more into one single product. They're the only one that does it in a 7-in-1 product like this, so they're making thousands of people healthier while saving them thousands of dollars, because it costs a lot less to buy Whole Food Multi-Complete than it is to buy all these other things put together. With coupon code FTL at simplifymysupplements.com, you get 30% off your first order. That's simplifymysupplements.com, coupon code FTL, and free shipping on orders of $60 or more.
To the phones, to the fun. Let's talk to Mark. He's in Salt Lake City. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mark.
Hello, guys.
Hey,
Today I wanted to talk about Seth Rich. Have you heard of the story about
Seth Rich?
Yeah, Seth Rich was the DNC staffer that was murdered back just before the election in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, there's news.
What did you know about Hillary?
Indeed, that's the question.
Yeah, actually, so basically the Washington, D.C. police have sort of dragged their feet on the investigation of this one. And so the Rich family hired a private investigator who was a former Washington, D.C. police officer. And he said in his investigations, he found that Seth Rich was, in fact, talking to WikiLeaks and had released 45,000 emails to WikiLeaks through a director that was that is now since dead. He's like a film director that he did documentaries on WikiLeaks.
So both this Rich guy and his director buddy are both dead?
Yes, they're both dead. Now the director buddy supposedly died of lung cancer.
Now, this Rich, I think I've seen Rich's picture. He looked pretty young, right?
Yes. He was like a 30-year-old man. He was murdered in the streets of Washington, D.C. The cops said it was a robbery, a botched robbery. He had $2,000 in his wallet and, gold watch and stuff like that. And all that money was still there. And WikiLeaks actually released an email from Podesta saying that the leaker, not mentioning him by name, but saying that the leaker will be made an example of, even though they don't have concrete proof.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the article is on Zero Hedge if you guys want to take a look at it.
Yeah, I saw it today. It's
fascinating.
It's just so out there. Like, I don't mean it's inaccurate.
Not to anyone who's seen some of the other allegations about this woman. I mean, they say that I remember back when I was a teenager, my dad had like an old VHS tape about how corrupt the Clintons were way back in the day. They were supposedly like flying cocaine out of the Mena, Arkansas airport and things like that, killing people way back then.
Yeah. And in fact, the investigator who did the was hired by the Rich family, he has said that he was in contact with his former buddies that are over there in the police department, and they said that they were told from on high to really just not worry about this case right now.
Yep, this is a robbery, not an assassination.
Yes, it's a robbery, not an assassination.
Thank you, Mark, for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here, 855-450 free, F-R-E-E, free. Things that make you go,
Yeah, I mean, it's stories like this is the reason that Hillary Clinton is not president.
This is part of it, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, she was the worst possible choice the Democratic National Convention could possibly have made, but they were, the deck was stacked.
If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yeah, I just want to mention that, when I first came to New Mexico about 13 years ago, they actually had smoking in the restaurant still.
Yeah.
And
freedom. Smelled like freedom.
Well, the thing about it is, and I worked very hard collecting signatures.
I was going to say, you worked? Wow.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. You always say that I don't do anything, but I was part of the smoke ban in restaurants and bars in the state of New Mexico.
So you worked real hard at trying to force your viewpoint down on private property owners, right?
Well, do you like children that get lugged around and having to be subjected to cigarettes while they're eating with their parents?
I guess I was one of those.
Do you like everybody getting sick?
Everybody's not getting sick.
So what you're saying is that, everyone's homes should be invaded as well because the kids could live in those homes.
Let's talk about that. Sarah, hang on. We'll bring you back for more of the cigarette ban discussion. You can take control of the airwaves here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, plus marrying yourself. Mark wants to talk about that on the way, and you can take control here on Free Talk Live. Bring up what you want.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With a ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, so do Skype in here and bring up whatever's on your mind. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
That Skype username, by the way, is LRN.FM. And you can get your online shopping done with Free Talk Live by going to shop.freetalklive.com. You just enter Amazon through the links you'll find there. There's Amazon US, Amazon UK, as well as Amazon Canada. You just go into the right Amazon for you, and Free Talk Live gets a piece of the action when you do that. So it helps us out, and you get the same great prices and deals that you're used to. So just start your shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. As we go back to the phones and back to Sarah in New Mexico, you called tonight to brag a little bit about your hard work that you put into banning cigarette smoking from inside business establishments there. Was it just in Albuquerque, or is it the whole state of Santa Fe? Or, excuse me, the whole state of New Mexico?
Well, the thing is, Santa Fe and Las Lunas already banned smoking from restaurants only at that time. And here in Albuquerque, the rest of the state, we still have smoking inside restaurants and bars also. So I pushed it really hard for, like I said, it was freezing cold for 2 months. I collected 70 signature cards. I spoke 15 times at the city council meeting. I stuffed like 150 envelopes. But 5 years later, we finally knocked them out. And so the whole state became smoke-free bars and restaurants 5 years later.
Well, so I'm reminded of this happened in Keene, New Hampshire. So
it happened in New Hampshire.
It happened in New Hampshire, and it happened while we were here. So there were bars where people would smoke, and there were bars where people wouldn't smoke. There were restaurants where people would smoke, and there were restaurants where people weren't allowed to smoke. And the marketplace provided for people restaurants and bars that didn't have smoking, and then a bunch of busybodies got together and said, you're not going to be smoking in those bars where you want to smoke. You're going to have to be like the bars that don't smoke, right? And like the problem had already been solved, and then in come the busybodies and solve it a little more. It's not like you could use the children when it comes to bars, right? Like that's bad. Bad parenting has already occurred if your child is in a bar smelling cigarette smoke. So you tried to trot out, what about the children? But if you cared about the children, you wouldn't try to do anything about smoking in bars, right?
Right. The children have nothing to do with the bars. It's just grown-ups that want to get drunk, right?
Right.
So the children have nothing to do with family restaurants, right?
Sure. But there were family restaurants in Keene, New Hampshire.
The first thing we did was ban it from the family restaurant for the sake of children. But the thing is, the bar, it's a public indoor place. So this law applies to all work environment.
So not just restaurants, but anywhere anybody would go to work. Now,
Johnson, a restaurant put in like a divider with a fan.
They could.
There are treatment devices for cigarette smoke.
I mean, you
yes,
think if
they're
the
expensive,
market really
but they exist.
is demanding that, which it wasn't before, but let's say if the market really, really wanted this, they could, not point guns at the heads of the restaurant owners, and instead, would demand for sensible.
Well, Sarah
things.
doesn't see the guns. She doesn't want to acknowledge that the guns are there. But of course, you're right.
I'm surprised Sarah's not busy right now, like doing her activism. because like the helmet law in Arizona crashed and burned. I mean, you could be out, forcing motorcyclists to wear helmets.
This is her activism.
It's a road. She's really big into things that are involving the roads.
You had asked a question before. Hold on, Sarah. Johnson had asked a question before we went to break, which I thought was really prescient here for this conversation, because it's clear that you're against smoking in workplaces. But Johnson, can you rephrase your question that you'd asked? It was about homes. It was about should the government, children are in homes.
Yeah, children exist in homes, and the parents who couldn't smoke in a restaurant could also smoke in that home. So shouldn't the law invade everyone's homes and stop them from smoking in their own homes as well? Because the children.
In my world, I would. To me, smoking around children in your home is child abuse. If I could have it my way, I would issue out citations.
Why don't we force all people that have ever smoked to be sterilized? That way they can't ever have kids. Why don't we force all people that have ever smoked to have to be sterilized so that they can't ever have kids? That way there's no risk of this happening. Because they could break the law, right? I mean, they could smoke around children and commit this abuse, and they could break the law. So they should just, if you ever pick up a pack of cigarettes, forcible sterilization, right? The government should just castration.
I don't know
even,
about
maybe.
all of that. I don't know about the sterilization, but I would like them to, if they smoke around children with the cars inside their cars with like little toddlers and babies and all this stuff, they should be ticketed.
Now, in a car,
not
somebody
tased. Ticketed, just ticketed.
Somebody could observe someone smoking in their car, but if they're in their home, how are you going to find out, Sarah, that the parent has been smoking?
That's what the government school's for, to have little Johnny or
I
little
wanted her to
Susie
answer
snitch
that.
on them.
I wanted her to answer that question. Yes, but certainly they could be interrogated.
The thing about it is that, like he said, the children, they have asthma, they have ear infection, they're wheezing, they can't run or play at school, and they say that my parents are smoking, and they have infections. Yes, they'll find out. They're killing the children.
So you believe that the children of the smokers it'll be a parent who is a child of a smoker because they are going to be the ones that are sick at the school, whereas the regular students that come from smoke-free homes are less likely to come down with maladies. It's probably true that a smoke-filled home will not be good for.
It's more likely, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. So if a kid has asthma, that doesn't mean their parents smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I come from a generation where we were locked in cars with smokers going around. The vast majority of my generation doesn't have asthma. So I think that there's a little bit of logical fail here.
So if
a lot of that happens. Look, you know what? Okay, so the kids wind up in the hospital. They could figure out whether parents took the kid and banged him against the wall. They know what the reasons why they're ill. You know what I mean?
My dad smoked in the car
infection.
the whole time I was growing up. I never ended up in the hospital.
But what you're saying is, even if a child does end up in the hospital or in the nurse's room at the school for some sort of malady, that you want the child to snitch on their own parents. That essentially you would like the child to tell on their parents, which would result perhaps in their parents going to jail, right? That's what all this is really coming down to, is if they don't stop smoking around the child, would they go to jail or just have the child taken from them? What should the punishment be?
Well, I don't know about the severity of snitching on the child. Well, do you think the children that are getting beat by their parents, do you think they should just be quiet because they're snitching out on their parents? They're afraid of their parents going to jail, so they're being molested and beaten. But that's okay.
Well, now you're talking about a completely different. You're kind of moving the goalposts here.
No,
right?
she's not.
No?
She's equating smoking with child molestation.
Right.
She hasn't moved the goalpost. She's revealed the goalpost.
I see what you're saying.
Here's the goalpost.
She thinks they're equivalent.
Yeah, Sarah thinks there's an equivalency here.
Well, it's not exactly the equivalent, but it's still a form of, the kid doesn't know that it's hurtful or any of it, okay?
Right.
But maybe the children that they don't know, but it does hurt them in the long run. How many
clearly, the next thing that we should do is we should make sure that parents aren't feeding their children red meat or sugar. And also we should make sure that the parents are not swearing around their kids, because that's also forms of abuse. So both of those things.
Yeah,
and then, of course, parents should not be allowed to let their kids watch television, because that's an abuse, because television is clearly harmful and kids should only be studying. And clearly we should let other people be making decisions for how parents should have to raise their children.
My son was born.
The government should be responsible
in 2008, and I quit smoking in 2009. So there was a period of time where I smoked, and my son was alive. I never smoked indoors. I didn't smoke indoors before I met my wife, and I can assure you I didn't smoke indoors after I got married. And so let me ask you this. The fact that I do smoke, but I have a kid, does that make me the evil person, or is it just smoking indoors that makes me an evil person? Sarah?
Smoking indoors around children, that makes you evil.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Sarah. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. You can take control of the airwaves there as well. Skype username is LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply.
When did American men get so soft?
Today's average red-blooded American man has less testosterone than his father, and his father has less testosterone than his father. Before we turn into a country of powder puffs, Force Factor is launching the Man Up America event. We want to send every man in America a complimentary bottle of the breakout supplement taking GNC by storm. Test X 180 Ignite, loaded with free testosterone-boosting manliness. Get your complimentary bottle by texting SHAPE44 to 369369. During workouts, Test X 180 Ignite raises levels of free testosterone in your body to help build lean muscle. Plus, it helps burn fat, fuel sexual desire, and improve performance. Now you can continue to feel like the real men that made this country great. Do yourself a favor. Do America a favor. Text SHAPE44 to 369369 for your complimentary bottle. That's a complimentary bottle by texting SHAPE44 to 369369.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
I'm the enemy because I like to think, I like to read,
I'm into freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I'm the kind of guy who likes to sit in a greasy spoon and wonder, gee, should I have the T-bone steak or the jumbo rack of barbecue ribs with the side order gravy fries? I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I want to smoke a Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in a non-smoking section. I want to run through the streets naked with green jello all over my body reading Playboy magazine. Why? Because I suddenly might feel the need to, okay, pal? I've seen the future. You know what it is? It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around in his beige pajamas drinking a banana broccoli shake singing, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener. You live up top, you live Cocteau's way. What he wants, when he wants, how he wants. Your other choice, come down here, maybe starve to death.
Edgar
It kind
Friendly.
of feels like sometimes like the freedom thing, like it's you get a little bit of, you might if you really were to try and live out completely outside of the government system, you might starve to death. Like you're trying to,
it's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
to not have a social security, to get a job within the social security system, and to if you were to completely have to live outside the government system, would be pretty difficult.
You wouldn't be able to own property.
What?
You wouldn't be able to own property.
Yeah.
So Edgar Friendly there, clip from the classic 1990s film.
1993.
1993, amazing. Demolition Man with, of course, Edgar Friendly played by Dennis Leary. And then you've got Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Sandra Bullock and Wesley Snipes.
Yep. Great film. If you haven't seen it, you really are. If you like a good action, funny action movie, this has got it. With the one-liners, 90s.
Pardon me, citizen. What seems to be your bundle?
Yep, great stuff. It's even got Jesse Ventura in it.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. I think he's got like one line or something like that, but he's definitely in it. So there you go. I think that's relevant to the last conversation we were having there with Sarah in New Mexico. It really is a choice between freedom and the risks that are involved and this sanitized, cleansed world that Sarah wants to force everybody into.
I need Sarah to see this movie and be like, I would totally live under Dr. Cocteau. He seems like a wonderful man.
I don't think she watches movies. Didn't we talk to her about movies?
I don't know.
At some point?
Does she have an ability to watch movies?
Well, she's not blind, I don't think.
Well, no, I mean an ability to like a DVD player.
Oh, I don't know.
Television.
Yeah, it's a good question. So you can bring up whatever you want. Let's go to Jason. He's in Arizona. Jason, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Mark.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Jason.
I just have a semi-rebuttal, I guess. I'm an ex-Californian. I live in Arizona. I've been in Arizona for a few years. And, living in California, I've had people tell me I can't drink while they got a Corona in their hand. I got people that tell you that you should go smoke in the smoking section as they get in their car and drive away and smoke with their kid. To me, it's all about how you live your life. For me, I smoke personally. I drink. I've never done drugs, anything to that effect. But also, I've explained to my kids the harmfulness, but I also did it in conjunction with the schooling that they have, because I didn't believe in the schooling portion where they bring out the pot pipes and all this stuff, and they say, well, which one of these do your parents do? After that, that's when we left. That's when we left California. I was done with that. Because there's no privacy issues, or there's no privacy at all, excuse me.
Right, and your kids, unless you've done a really good job of telling them to keep quiet, they just think they're helping. They think they're helping by telling the nice officer that the mommy and daddy smoke some weed or whatever, or they smoke a joint at the end of the day.
And see, that doesn't bother me. If that's what somebody wants to do, that's fine with me. Chances are that's what your children do because you don't educate them on the benefits or the harmful effects, regardless. Like with mine, I sat him down. I explained the fundamentals. And my son, now he's 17. He's going to be a firefighter. I didn't kill him somehow as he's being 17. And I've got a daughter who's 15 who, she plays volleyball. She does gymnastics. She's on the cheerleading squad. So we obviously didn't affect them too much. I think mostly conversation and intelligence is what needs to transpire from parents to kids, is pertaining to anything.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's the sensible way to do things, but people like Sarah just want to force their viewpoint down on others through the threat of violence. And then at the same time, they don't want to acknowledge that there's actually violence behind what it is that they want. They just believe that when the government does things, it's just the will of the people, and everybody should just fall in line. That's what the people want.
Yeah, that's where I disagree, because if you look at the lady that started MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, she got prosecuted and stuck in jail after the fact and for drinking and driving.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. I had no idea.
The gal that started MAD.
Well, we on our first night that we ever did the show, we did a show on a smoking ban, and a guy called in. He was actually related to one of the hosts that was on, that wasn't Ian or I, and he said he was a smoker, and he sounded like a smoker, right? I'm gonna die of emphysema, and I voted for this because I don't want other people to be like me, or something to that effect. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but I'm trying to give you some notion of what it was like as far as the call goes, and there's a percentage of people that vote for stuff like this because they want to force the change that they can't make for themselves upon themselves and other people. And
I understand.
It just doesn't work. It just makes things harder for people.
I understand. I understand not smoking in a grocery store anymore. I understand, in semi-public places, mostly in enclosed buildings.
Was that a thing in the past? You could smoke in the grocery store?
I think you could smoke anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
You could go to your neighbor's house that didn't smoke and walk in and smoke a cigar. Nobody cared.
It's amazing.
But
that's
nowadays,
before my time.
They give you a designated smoking area, and everybody peers at you, and that's pretty much the way it worked in California. Was you just got belittled so much to where you had to conform
or left town as you did.
Or move away. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, thanks for calling tonight. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us here. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We got Ricky in Pennsylvania on Skype. Hello, Ricky.
That would be the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania there, Brother Ian.
You're on the air.
Well, I'm not going to chime in on Sarah, but I smoke like a stack, and that's for another day. I got bigger problems, Ian. It's all this Trump business. I chimed in on my predictions in the past. If you remember, I linked up the Hillary Clinton hack to who did that. And not only that, I said that there are individuals within our government that are at the core of the DNC that are the culprit of all these things, including this Trump business. And that's Federalists. And people missing the big problem that's coming. We're talking the chief of staff. We're talking.
Now, was the guy that Hillary Clinton might have had murdered, was he a Federalist or an anti-Federalist?
See, here's my answer on that. I saw that, and I say this thing could go either way. I won't commit to say that Hillary might have done this. This guy, I think, might have been.
Do you think she could have done it?
No, I really don't think so. This is all part of the Federalist. This is all part of a Federalist coup. I'm telling you.
A Federalist
Look at this Trump business. Huh?
It's the Federalists versus the Globalists. What's going on?
No, these are Hamiltonian Federalists, man. If there's Jeffersonians, there's Federalists.
And the
Now you look
globalist
at the paper
conspiracy.
trail for all the money.
Hello, friends.
Thanks for the call, Ricky. Oh, darn. Darn, we missed whatever it was he was going to say there. Some brilliance he was going to lay on you, Johnson. David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, for some reason I can't hear you well, but okay, that's better.
We hear you.
I
Go
got
ahead.
you. Got you. Yeah, I just wanted to. You took me by surprise. I wanted to, while that's still fresh, I wanted to chime in on Sarah. The way that Sarah, what she's proposing, the way she's acting, she's not in the government, but there are, especially in this state, there are people that are virtually identical to her and her viewpoints and how she would impose them on other people in this state and elsewhere. And what she was talking about parents in relation to their children and what she would do, and that is exactly how I lost my children in this state. It was primarily women. Men would do it too, but they're primarily female workers in government and non-governmental organizations that work hand in hand with government. And over a bunch of lawful behaviors on my part, let me say that again, the way that I act and behave, which you have indication of just by hearing me talk, but I'm the same everywhere. I don't really change. But they didn't like the lawful behaviors that I exhibit, and once again, lawful behaviors, as evidenced by the fact that they actually got on the phone based on these behaviors that they were observing, like Sarah observing someone smoking in their children's presence. They actually called the judge in the custody case directly, and the judge told them to call the cops and the CYFD, and both the cops said and CYFD, both of them said there's nothing here. But
it's legal. But nonetheless, it was still likely used against you. Thank you for the call, David. There's more coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It is a world of busybodies out there. There's more coming up. It's Free Talk Live. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, May 16th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,234 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,742. Antiwar.com reports U.S. officials have long insisted that Syria's Assad government is carrying out mass executions of detainees throughout the civil war, but the lack of evidence for mass graves has forced the U.S. to shift its narrative, now claiming that a crematorium built outside of Damascus could be the key. The U.S. State Department is now claiming that the mass executions are being carried out with the unconditional support of Iran and Russia, and that the Syrian military is hanging detainees en masse and just throwing them all into the crematorium to cover up the evidence. There's no evidence backing these claims up, of course, apart from satellite photos on the outside of the crematorium, and U.S. officials rather just rehashed a series of things they think may well be happening in Syrian prison, including torture and rape, followed up with a speedy execution and disposal. Indeed, the State Department officials conceded that the whole reason they came up with this new statement was because Russia's foreign minister visited the U.S. last week, and the U.S. wanted to reiterate that there needs to be a regime change in Syria despite Russian opposition. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear an appeal of a lower court ruling that struck down North Carolina's voter identification law. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the two-page ruling, noting the court's decision not to hear the case should not be considered a judgment on the case's merits. Roberts wrote, "Given the blizzard of filings over who is and who is not authorized to seek review in this court under North Carolina law, it is important to recall our frequent admonition that the denial of a petition imports no expression of opinions of the merits of the case." The High Court left in place replace a Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that struck down the controversial 2013 law by North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature and signed by Governor Pat McCrory, also a Republican, who was defeated in November. The judge found that the state's ballot restrictions targeted black voters with almost surgical precision. The legislation restricted voting and registration in 5 ways, which disproportionately affected minority voters, according to the lower court. They required voters to present an approved form of photo identification before casting a valid ballot, cut early voting from 17 to 10 days, eliminated out-of-precinct voting, ended same-day registration and voting, and did not allow pre-registration by 16-year-olds. It would have taken 4 justices to consider the case. Last summer, the justices were divided 4-4 on a request to allow the law to go forward in the election. The state's new governor, Democrat Roy Cooper, has sought to dismiss the appeal. Cooper said in a statement, "Today's announcement is good news for North Carolina voters. We need to be making it easier to vote, not harder, and the court found this law sought to discriminate against African American voters with surgical precision. I will continue to work to protect the rights of every legal registered North Carolinian to participate in our democratic process." The Southern Coalition for Social Justice and the American Civil Liberties Union also applauded Monday's decision. Del Ho, director of the ACLU's Voting Rights Project, said in a statement, "This law, enacted with what the appeals court called discriminatory intent and almost surgical precision, targeted African American voters, is meeting its much-deserved demise. An ugly chapter in voting suppression is finally closing." Ballot Access News adds, on May 15th, the U.S. Supreme Court revealed that at its May 11th conference, it had refused to hear all 4 election law cases before it. In addition to the North Carolina case, the court also refused to hear Louisiana Party of Kentucky v. Grimes, thus continuing its 26-year record of refusing all petitions from minor parties and independent candidates that concern election law, unless the major parties were also in the same case. The issue was the state's restrictive definition of political party, one which requires certain support in a presidential race. The court also refused to hear a pair of cases against open primaries brought by the Montana Republican Party and Hawaii Democratic Party. Next week, the Supreme Court may reveal whether it will hear the Republican Party of Louisiana v. FEC case over federal campaign finance laws that inhibit contributions to state and local parties. Soon it will act on Gill v. Whitford over Wisconsin's partisan legislative gerrymander. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The Surgeon General warns teens the cinnamon challenge is not for pussies. Taylor Swift is now dating the Watertown boat, and a middle-aged funeral director buys a flashy red hearse. We pity your pathetic dependence on this for your weekly news, but here we go anyway. This is the Onion Week in Review. A study released this week by the National Institutes of Health confirmed that for the 25th straight year, wolf attacks remain the leading cause of death in the United States. The Human Health Agency's findings confirmed that being viciously killed by a ravenous wolf claimed the lives of over 800,000 Americans last year alone, with researchers adding that 1 person in the United States dies every 40 seconds from a violent wolf attack.
The mortality rate associated with wolf attacks vastly outstrips the death tolls of cancer, stroke, and chronic respiratory disease. People should know that anyone... Oh, Jesus,
no. This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial in toll-free and join us here on the radio. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As we continue to watch Demolition Man clips during the breaks. Great movie. Makes me want to watch it again. So anyway, we've been talking about everything from smoking bans. Somebody called in about Oklahoma going broke. You can call in about any of that stuff or whatever's on your mind goes here. But we're going to change gears and go into sort of a personal issue. And, Mark, that would be some people apparently want to marry themselves.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That appears to be the case. And I don't know. It's kind of funny. Coming from WUSA9.com, Brooklyn, CBS.
Kind of ties into that Dennis Leary clip we were playing earlier.
Yeah.
About the 47-year-old virgin.
Well, I did see this being done on Glee. I know you're not a big Glee fan.
It's a singing show. I've never seen it.
Right.
So how can I be not a fan or a fan? I've never seen it.
Well, you're not a fan.
Okay, I guess you're right.
And
I have no opinion about it.
I knew, of course, at the time it was a thing, so this is not new news or anything, but I'm kind of amused
So
by
a character on the show married themselves, is what you're saying?
One of the characters. If the secret to a happy marriage is finding the
Where's
right
this from?
person...
I'm sorry. Did you already say that?
Yeah, I did. WUSA9.com.
Okay.
Brooklyn, CBS. Finding the right... if the secret of a happy marriage is finding the right person, we can all stop looking, at least according to sologamists. They're part of a growing relationship trend in which people are tying the knot to themselves. Erica Anderson is one of them. I would describe it as women
kind of
saying...
like a cat's cradle kind of thing? I mean, is that what, that old game where you take the string and you just...
That's what it's like, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I describe it as women saying yes to themselves, Anderson said. It means that we are...
It's funny, what they used to call that is loser.
Why? Being single?
Not able to find anybody to marry, and you just marry yourself.
Well, I don't know what I consider it. It's just odd. But anyway, I think
married my cats.
You should be you should be single if you wish to be single. I don't know. I mean, I guess what I'm left with is why do I have to have a big ceremony? I've been living with myself for 46 years now.
Yeah, what's new?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I've got to have a ceremony and make it all official.
Is that what they're doing? Is that what this is about?
Yes, there are ceremonies.
I imagine my girlfriend, when she hears this, is going to be like, "You hypocrite! You talk about your cats all the time."
And people go to these ceremonies and act like take it seriously.
What a self-centered little party!
I know.
It's like throwing your own birthday party, maybe even worse.
This is bad. Yeah. I mean, because to me, marriage is this sort of
to this sort of thing too. Who actually agrees to show up?
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. I mean, marriages are traditional and gross, and I'm tired of it. And I think it's silly. But this is even
registered
sillier.
with Wayfair and Amazon and Bed Bath and Beyond. So,
right.
Get
a bunch of gifts.
Bring gifts. Well, look, there's nothing wrong with wedding gifts. If you're going to go to a party and consume people's food, you probably should bring something to sort of compensate them for that. Many of these weddings are extraordinarily expensive.
That's not the problem of the attendee. I mean, it's just a nice thing to give somebody a gift.
Sure.
You don't give them a gift simply because they're throwing a big party for themselves.
Well, no, I'm talking about a wedding, not a wedding for yourself.
The wedding is for themselves, the couple.
Okay.
Yeah, they've chosen, they're the ones who chose to have a $10,000 wedding. They could have done it like you did, Mark, where you had a cake of donuts and...
We spent $1,000 on the wedding for, and it had 140 people there. But I still had to tell you, to get you to come, I had to say, you don't have to bring a gift, because that's the kind of cheapskate you are. And I don't care if I get a gift from you. Like, why would I? Well, the last thing I want is Ian going to Target to try to find out. That's great. Give me and my marriage to my drug treatment counselor wife a bag of weed.
But you see what I mean? Like, you still received gifts, even though you threw a very low-key wedding that didn't cost a whole lot of money, right? Because gifts are just a nice thing to do. You shouldn't feel like there's an obligation because, wow, they spent so much money. I got to buy a fancier gift. It's the thought that counts, Mark.
Oh, no. If you're going to go to a very fancy wedding and you know it's going to be a fancy wedding, you probably should. I mean, they're spending a lot of money, so
they want you to be there. No, you shouldn't have to feel obligated to do anything like that.
You never know what people want when they invite you to a wedding. It is such a weird and bizarre social ceremony that we have.
Oh, I'm so tired of them.
I agree with you. You have the right solution, which is I just don't go.
Well, I've been to weddings.
Yeah, but you don't. How many?
I have no idea.
Counted on your hand, I would imagine.
I don't know. I would have to think real hard. I mean, some family members and stuff got married. I don't remember how many of them, though.
Okay. That's as a kid, right?
Mostly.
Okay. So I've known you. We've been up here in New Hampshire for 10 years. How many weddings have you been to in the last 10 years?
I went to one down in Florida.
Oh, that's right. You went down to Florida for that wedding.
Old friend of mine.
Yeah, a very good friend of yours. And you brought a gift, I presume. And it was probably not terribly ostentatious, knowing the gentleman you went to.
I don't remember if I brought a gift, but I did take photos and gave them those.
That's awesome.
There was that.
That's even better. Yeah. Like, that's a really great choice. Nonetheless, I want to go and read this article. It's very funny.
I went to yours, too.
That's right. Yeah. But that was not within the last 10 years.
Okay, fair enough.
And you didn't bring a gift because you were told you don't have to bring a gift because you're a cheapskate, and I was afraid you wouldn't come.
Okay.
So, let's see. I would describe it as women saying yes to themselves, Anderson says. It means that we're enough, and even if we're not partnered with someone else. In many ways, the 37-year-old bride looked like any other on her wedding day.
Really?
She wore a white dress.
Just alone.
She had a bouquet. Anderson looked stunning with the Brooklyn Bridge and New York City skyline right behind her.
Does her father walk her down the aisle and then just kind of hang on to her?
Well, she walked down the aisle and no one was waiting for her.
Yeah.
That's just the way she wanted it. Anderson said that she grew tired of people asking her if she was still single, so in front of the family and friends, she married herself.
Wow.
Self-marriage or sologamy is growing, partly because it's popping up in pop culture, like
Really?
an episode of Sex and the City floated the idea. Now the movement has gone global, and companies are trying to
they're not making fun of this in pop culture? They're like, this is being presented as...
It's empowering, unless a guy does it. Unless a straight guy does it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this is only for women? This is like a women's thing? It's not a...
No, I'm sure it's not. I'm just saying that, they didn't write the article about a chubby, neck-bearded, fedora-wearing guy, right?
Okay.
I'm sure it's going to be
'Cause he's a
primarily women
loser.
that would do this too. Like I can't imagine, somebody who's going to be wealthy enough to throw themselves their own like fancy wedding, choosing to do guys choosing to do this like to celebrate. I don't know. It just seems
it's a
like
good point.
very
It's
odd
usually the woman who wants to have their day. They
Right.
want to have their day, the wedding
I've
day.
been dreaming of this since I was 4 years old.
Well, that's socialization to some extent, right? Girls aren't born wanting to get married. They're taught that
They
it's
sure
important
are,
or
at
whatever.
least in this culture.
I got the punchline here for you, though, Johnson. If you're ready, it says Anderson just celebrated her 1-year anniversary with a solo trip to Mexico. Even though she's married to herself, she's dating and open to marrying another person.
Okay.
So
she'll get another day. One day for herself, one day with this other person. So there's no more interviews with the lady in question?
Oh, yeah, there's more in here. I just wanted to make sure that I got that part.
Yeah, I want to hear more about the
In
justification.
psychology's terms, we call this narcissism.
Well, there's no more quotes from her. It says, Marry Yourself in Canada offers consulting and wedding photography. There's also IMarriedMe.com, launched by San Francisco man Jeffrey Levin, and his site offers polygamy ceremony kits, which include a wedding band, daily affirmation cards, and vows.
I've made the right choice. I've made the right choice.
Look, there are lots of people who are choosing not to get married, and I think for lots of good reasons. That child custody is a real pain. That they're not going to get what they think is appropriate inside of a relationship, so they're just deciding not to go that way. In Japan, they're having a terrible time sort of creating a next generation. Apparently, people just don't want to get married, and I think it's moving that way here in the United States. However, the idea of throwing yourself a wedding seems ostentatious and self-serving to me. But whatever, if it makes you happy, I can assure you the wedding planners do want the business.
The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever's on your mind here, and you can comment on marrying yourself. Is this something you're into? If so, can you explain it?
If you like yourself so much, why don't you just marry yourself?
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship-free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Everyone has something in their lives or just about themselves that they want to change, from trying to lose weight to becoming more motivated at work. Change is difficult, but the good news is no matter what, you don't have to go through it alone. Hypnotherapy can help you remove negative subconscious thoughts that keep you from achieving your goals. Never rely on just willpower again. Contact us at afterhourshypnotherapy.com today for your free consultation, or contact Melvin Marsh at 678-658-8483.
Hi, this is Sophie Winnick, longtime distributor and user of Youngevity products. In the last few years, my family went through a crisis. Everything else in my life, including my business, had to be put on the back burner. Thankfully, life is getting back to normal now. But the one thing I never had to worry about was my business and my monthly commission. I've been a distributor for Youngevity for over 17 years, since before it was Youngevity. And I've got to say, the most amazing thing about this company is the people. While my family was in crisis, other distributors stepped in and helped my customers, simply because that's what Youngevity people do, even for people they don't know. For me, it has never been about getting rich. It was about a product I could stand behind, a company I could count on, and a monthly commission check that has never, not once, been late in 17 years. Youngevity is truly a business for everyone, even people who have too much to do. I'm Sophie Winnick. I'm just like you. I have a real life, real ups and downs, but I know I will always have Youngevity.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Whether you want to talk about solygamy, the idea of marrying oneself, apparently that's a thing. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
It'd be pretty funny at any one of those weddings to serve all the drinks out of solo cups.
Hey, do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and making governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. You can join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org and find out why. As we continue here with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Let's go to the phones to your calls and thoughts. Genesis is on the line in Arizona listening to K-Talks. Hello, Genesis.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey, let's deal with the marriage thing. You know, it's supposed to be between a man and a woman so they can make children. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
You don't know that man and women get together and make kids?
Well, I know that part, but I don't think that marriage is supposed to be anything like that. I think that marriage is an agreement between two people, or maybe more than two.
Because that's what I was going to. The first thing I thought is there's a lot of marriages that haven't been between a man and a woman. It's been between lots of different folks.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't care how many people want to get married. It's their business, not mine.
Oh, well, in my eyes, people get married when they're going to have kids. They're going to settle down. They ain't going to run around.
It makes the most sense to me, right? Like, I don't understand why, in particular, you'd want to make this this commitment to spend the rest of your life together or whatever. If it wasn't
it's for the children,
for raising.
What's
children?
1 plus 1? What's 1 plus 1?
That's 2.
Okay. Anybody else got an answer?
Why would we need to answer it again?
Well, that's not the right answer, obviously.
It's not?
What's 1 plus 1? No.
It's still 2.
Okay, then your third guess there?
Yeah, go ahead, Johnson. Apparently he's got some weird
I'm not
joke.
participating in ridiculousness.
Okay, 1 plus 1 is really 1. Now, do you want to know why?
Well, go ahead.
What's that mean?
1 plus 1 equals 1 because it took 2 whole people to make each one of us. Your mom and your dad made you. It wasn't 2 men together making somebody. It wasn't 2 women together. It was a man and a woman making
Well, you're
you.
really getting all uppity about this, huh? This really bothers
you bet I am.
Yeah,
Because
why does it bother
crap
you
that
so much? Why does it bother you if 2 men or 2 women love one another?
Because I'm actually a man trapped in a woman, or a woman trapped in a man's body.
Okay.
Are you
I got
trolling?
both parts. Huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've got both parts. Okay, both working parts. I could make a baby myself.
Okay, and
this sounds really entertaining.
Yeah, it is.
Can
Totally,
you make a video of
totally
that?
crazy.
Because I
If
bet
you
that
made a
go
video,
viral.
you'd make a lot of
If
money.
he's some hermaphrodite, that's like a real condition.
I'm not into money. Money isn't worth nothing.
Well,
I'm not.
it's kind of the definition of money.
I'm not a material person.
Can
at
a
all.
hermaphrodite, a human, actually impregnate
It is
themselves?
possible, yeah.
Really?
It
I
would be
can,
a very
yes.
special person.
You have to be active, both your parts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't find out till I was like 50-some years old. I
You
still
didn't
got a
find out you
miniature
were
version.
hermaphrodite?
Then you couldn't get pregnant
Yeah.
because you would have been having a
period?
your menses would be coming on a monthly basis
there's
if
no
you
way
were
you'd be
able.
able to-
Yeah,
yeah.
that wouldn't work.
They don't come on a monthly. They come probably every.
Why does
2
whether or
months.
not you're a hermaphrodite have anything to do with how you feel about gay people getting married?
Because they're not. It's not what you get married for.
How do you know what they get married for?
Yeah, I guess that's
Because
kind of.
people are supposed to get married because they have kids, and then they quit running around.
So people who don't want to have kids shouldn't get married, is what you're saying.
People that don't have kids got no reason to get married.
What about tax breaks?
I don't disagree
what about
with that.
insurance? What about being able to see your partner in the hospital when they get sick?
What about romantic love? I mean, isn't that a reason why people want to get together and stay together?
I've
The
seen
idea that they'll-
How
girlfriends in
long
the
do they get
hospital.
together and stay together without kids? I'm wondering. What's the percentage on that?
I don't know. There's plenty
What's
of
the
people.
percentage on people with kids staying together? It's very
Yeah.
low.
There's plenty of people who get divorced who have kids. The fact that
Yeah,
they have
but
kids.
what's the racial difference between people that actually have kids and don't have kids that are getting married?
Honestly,
I'm wondering
I
if
don't
the kids
know.
that have.
I don't care.
You don't care. You see, this is the problem. People don't care.
Why?
You
Why
know?
should I care about other
marriages
people's?
fail at a greater rate when children are involved.
Why should I care at what
Because
other
the
people want to
kids
do?
are the ones that are losing in this battle.
Well, who loses when it comes to a couple that hates each other and is trying to stay together for the children, but that makes things worse?
Well, I'm just saying. What's
You're
the
just
ratio of
saying.
people that don't have kids that get divorced compared to the ratio of
They didn't
people
affect
that
the
are married?
kids. I can tell you that. If they don't have kids and they get divorced, it doesn't hurt the kids. They're not getting hurt in that situation because there aren't any kids.
There's all kinds of reasons.
You would think someone who is a hermaphrodite would be a little more open-minded towards, the lives and variants out there that are, exist in the world.
No, because 2 men can't make a baby.
Who
2 women
cares?
can't make a baby.
That doesn't
I
mean they
care.
can't make love.
Well, they can make all the love they want if that's not what they want to call it.
So what would you
Not
have?
really
so,
love.
So you want to end gay marriage?
Gay marriage should have never been allowed.
Well, it's here now. You want to end it?
That's only because Obama made it a law.
No, Obama did not make it a
gone,
law. That is not true.
Obama, what do you think he did?
There was a
First
court decision.
transgender huh?
There was a court decision that sort of helped gay marriage across the country, but that wasn't Obama's decision. That was the Supreme Court.
Well, he's the one that pushed it there.
No.
You don't think so?
He's the executive branch. So somebody else brought that case, not
it's
Barack Obama.
It's a situation whose time has come, right? Like Massachusetts had legalized gay marriage long before Obama ever got into office. It was just one of those things that was going to happen over time. And frankly, it's just a contract, right? It's a contract to live together, share finances, and, do all that stuff. You wouldn't stop roommates from having contracts, and so you shouldn't stop people from, having a contract.
Why do you care if somebody wants to get together, on some special day and have a big old silly party and spend a bunch of money on wedding catering and cakes and things like that? It doesn't affect you, does it?
It affects society, which affects me.
How does that affect society?
Because you got two men getting married. Marriage is between a man and a woman.
They're still going
to
cares. They're still going to be having sex. Genesis, they're still going to be having sex with one another, whether they're married or not. It's not like you're going to stop homosexuality by banning gay marriage.
Yeah, whenever anyone says the word God cares or it says anything about that, they're talking about their own wishes. They're saying I or me.
If God cared, God wouldn't have created you a hermaphrodite, right? Like it would have been perfect man-woman situation.
Thanks for the call. Toll-free number here. If you want to join us.
God is a hermaphrodite. That's how he was created in God's image.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind.
That's what they meant by Adam and Eve, right? And so it's the same time.
Same
person.
Well, I mean, God probably is genderless, or like you said, may have both genders if there is a God. Like that, like the man in the sky kind of God. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733, or the hermaphrodite in the sky. There's more coming up, and you can join us here at Free Talk Live.
Phone lines are open.
Yes, indeed. Any crazy can call in anytime. More coming up.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Be prepared for the next disaster with the Shelter Pod. The Shelter Pod is a large, all-season, heavy-duty, quick-deploy shelter. The Shelter Pod system can be set up in 30 seconds and includes an emergency medical kit, water filter, survival tools, and more. Are you prepared to take care of your family? Do you have everything in one place ready to go? Get it now or enter to win a complete Shelter Pod system at shelterpod.com. The Shelter Pod at shelterpod.com. Shelter when you need it most.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers, and some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST hosting.com. Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Work with your doctor when taking medications. Make Protovite part of your healthy lifestyle.
HealthForLiberty.com is your source for Protovite, a powerful nutritional supplement that's a true breakthrough for your health. Poor digestion makes it nearly impossible to absorb the nutrition your body needs. Protovite is a liquid multi-nutrient formula with patent-pending absorption technology and the highest quality ingredients to nourish every cell in your body.
My name is Sandra White. 6 weeks ago, when I started taking Protovite, I was on 14 medications, from everything for blood pressure to fibromyalgia. In the first 10 days, my blood sugar dropped 50 points, and my fibromyalgia pain is gone. And so was 12 of the 14 medications that I was taking. I'm 66, living life and loving it.
Go to HealthForLiberty.com right now. That's HealthForLiberty.com.
Thank you, Protovite, for giving my life back.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us on the radio. Bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. You can Skype on in here at username lrn.fm. If you want to save big time on your purchases at Amazon, you can go to saveatpurse.com. Saveatpurse.com. And what you do there is you load up your Amazon wish list. So you put whatever you want to buy at Amazon on a wish list. You then load it into saveatpurse.com, and then you select your discount. Maybe you want to save 20%. It's pretty easy to save 20% when you go to saveatpurse.com. If you want to try for more, you can do that. You can get as much as 33% off with saveatpurse.com. It's an amazing system. It sounds too good to be true, though, doesn't it? Well, it's for real. This one is one of the few times in life where something that sounds too good to be true actually is as true as it sounds. You go to saveatpurse.com. I've been doing it for more than 2 years. This is not some fly-by-night operation that's going to close up shop tomorrow. It's an amazing product, service that works very, very well. I highly recommend it if you want to save big time. But the catch is, you have to have cryptocurrency. If you don't, then you can't save at saveatpurse.com. So you have to have Bitcoin or one of the other more popular alternatives to Bitcoin. Saveatpurse.com. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, let's go to Jerry in Nebraska. You're on Free Talk Live. Hey, Jerry.
Hi.
Hey, you're on the air.
Well, I want to talk about computer CPUs and how I stuck one up my asshole.
All right, well, you can't say that on the radio, and we're just going to hit the dump button on that just to be safe, which, of course, is now not working correctly. Hopefully it hit right.
Well, it's certainly not how you become a robot.
So, yeah, you can bring up anything you want here.
You think it qualifies as transhuman?
I don't know. Does that technically make you a cyborg?
Let's go to Dave. He's in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Dave.
To talk a little bit about the benefits of having this Libertarian Party caucus in the New Hampshire State House.
Yes, so New Hampshire is the only state in the union that has a Libertarian caucus. Go ahead.
We have two sitting state reps, one a former Republican, one a former Democrat, who have both flipped within the last 3 months. And so there is now a Libertarian caucus, and it's the first one that has existed in the United States in like 20 years. The last one was also in New Hampshire.
As tiny as this group is, it's going to have the sort of backhanded benefit of getting attacked, right? So when it gets attacked, it's going to get press, and the press is going to be good for us. There was an incident, I guess, within the last week or so, where apparently the Speaker of the House sent an email to a local Republican group that Caleb Dyer has been attending. He's one of the Libertarians, and the email hinted that Dyer sort of shouldn't be there, that they shouldn't be letting him in the meetings, and I guess the local group unanimously voted to let him keep attending the meetings.
Okay. You're talking about a local meeting that would be happening in his town or nearby his town?
Yes, I was thinking it was Rochester, but I don't know.
Caleb
And
is based out of Pelham, New Hampshire. He's the guy he was the first person to make the flip to Libertarian, the first in like 2 decades here in New Hampshire, and basically made history because of that. Okay. But yeah, I'd heard about that. That actually is kind of...
How was that making history? I mean, New Hampshire's already had, libertarians, so why is it making history?
Well,
Libertarians
he's
are
making history
elected.
again. I mean, it's the first time in 20 years that something like that has happened.
Okay.
That's still historic.
I do
it's not the
agree
first
in the
time
sense
ever.
with Mark that it may not be quite as big a deal as Ian has been making out of it, but I do think
it's just
it's
better
got value in
terminology
it.
than making history. I mean, I suppose we're all making
It's
history all
historic.
the time. I just drove to work for the 10,042nd time. I mean, did I make
Yeah, but that's
history?
not that important. What Caleb is doing is far more important.
Yeah, it's important, but Anyway,
it's
go
all
ahead and
arbitrary.
Tell me the benefits. I'm open to hearing them, David.
Well, again, it's just like that historical precedent when Gandhi was, burning his identity papers. Nobody cared until someone attacked him. Right? It's the attacks that make a movement powerful, and the fact that the speaker's kind of losing it a little bit over losing Caleb from the Republican Party. It could be an indicator that more of that will come.
But the speaker's not even really a Republican. Jasper's basically
Well, it doesn't matter. He's still the Speaker of the House. It doesn't matter if he's a Republican or a Democrat. If they're attacking, the point Dave's making here is if they're attacking you, you're winning because it shows
that much is true.
Shows that you're relevant.
I'm just wondering why the speaker's attacking a guy who's, libertarian, switched to libertarian when it may be more accurate a description of who he is when this guy's would be poorly described as a Republican.
Right.
I wish the speaker would switch to Democrat.
I guess it would be more honest on his part. But as part of this, there has been a downward trend in terms of transparency at the New Hampshire State House over the last few years while he's been in power. There's been a lot of other incidents that are worse than this. By far, and so, but you need to have somebody out there, kind of holding the flag, and good to have Caleb out there doing that.
Yeah, and Joseph Stalkop, who was the second state rep to flip, he was a Democrat who flipped, and the second Democrat in the history of the Libertarian Party, as I understand it. The first one also being here in New Hampshire back in around the year 2000. When late state representative Steve, oh my God, I'm spacing on his last name, but I shouldn't be. Valancourt, thank you. Yeah, Steve Valancourt made that flip. So again, this is the first time this stuff has happened in quite a long time, and it's also noteworthy that New Hampshire, with its 2 sitting Libertarian Party state reps, has more Libertarian state reps than every other state combined. So, I mean, there's definitely something happening here that's worth noting. And I think you're right, Dave. The parties in power, the Democrats and the Republicans, are not going to be able to ignore this. They could, if they wanted to, they could just ignore these guys, let them caucus in their room by themselves and, pretty much try to shove them aside. But if they keep attacking, I think you're right. Their influence will only grow.
The other thing I was wondering is what exactly are the implications of I was kind of thinking I've been a Republican since 1984, from the first time I voted, and I think there's benefits to that because I can go to the Republican primaries and vote on candidates there. I guess I would lose that if I wasn't a Republican anymore.
There'll be a Libertarian primary in the state of New Hampshire.
There could be, yeah.
What's been going on has started to make me think about eventually switching parties, just to help push something forward that appears to be successful. But I don't know, what are the implications of that?
The implications of you switching parties or the implications of the sort of first-level successes that they're having?
Oh, the implications for me of switching parties. Do I lose the ability to vote as a Republican in the Republican primary?
Yes. Unless you, in New Hampshire, for those that don't know, there's the 3 parties that are sort of have ballot status. There's the Democrats, there's the Republicans, and the Libertarians just gained ballot status in the last election, so for the first time in about 2 decades. And then there's also an undeclared voter registration. So you can always register as undeclared, and then if you walk into a primary day and you feel strongly about, let's say there's a Republican race that you feel is very, very important as compared to the Libertarian or the Democrat ones, you can then declare yourself as a Republican for that purpose of that voting in that primary. Then as you walk out of the voting area, you can then undeclare yourself again, and you will still remain as undeclared. In fact, the majority, as I understand it, of the voters, maybe not the majority, but the plurality, a good chunk of the voters in New Hampshire are undeclared. There are more undeclared voters than there are registered Republicans. There are more undeclared voters than there are registered Democrats in New Hampshire.
Can an undeclared voter join the Libertarian Party and remain undeclared?
Certainly. Yeah, there's a difference between joining a political party and registering to vote as that same political party. So you can totally join the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, but remain a registered undeclared voter in New Hampshire. And another interesting thing about New Hampshire is we have same-day voter registration. So you can literally
really nice.
walk into the polls and register day of. That's Dave Ridley, by the way, from RidleyReport.com. There's more coming up here. Thanks for the call, Dave. This is Free Talk Live.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go, go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Frustrated with his increased workload and a litany of interpersonal problems, CLG software project manager William Garston brought a list of grievances Thursday to his supervisor Todd Watkins, an utterly powerless office functionary with no actual ability to resolve any problems.
Oh, no. I'm really glad that you're bringing this to me. This is great.
The 15-minute interaction, which was taken seriously by both parties, involved Garston laying out a series of work-related issues he's had recently, absolutely none of which Watkins has even the slightest authority to address.
Again, I'm sorry to be bothering you with all this stuff, Todd. I've reached a point where I was not under the... This is important. We're gonna sort all this out.
Sources added that throughout the conversation, Watkins continually nodded his head and repeatedly assured Garston that his problems would be considered a top priority, despite the fact that he lacked the necessary clout to foster any change whatsoever within the company.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So, Mark, I know you had a Bitcoin letter. Do we have enough time for that?
No.
Oh, man. I was looking forward to that one. I was wondering...
should have given it more than a segment then, pal.
What they were going to say. Hey, I didn't give anybody anything. People called in. That's what happens here. People call in, we talk about stuff. Oh, sorry, Johnson, try that again.
No, I was going to say, I could bring something up, but it's dangerous territory.
Oh, that's what I like, dangerous territory.
Well, dangerous territory is you brought up a conversation online recently on Facebook.
I did?
Yep. To talk about the AMP program.
Oh, yes.
So you've been, like basically telling people that, AMP is...
It's been hurting. It's been losing money. We talked about this on the air the other day, but please go ahead.
You were talking about, what can be done, and I have an idea, or I've kind of had an idea. And I don't know, I don't know that it's necessarily, the best idea, maybe not. You've been talking about the satellite feeds and kind of separating that out and trying to figure something else out. So
I'm working on that right now.
One of the suggestions that I've kind of had background like low for a long time, is that focusing on the listener and listener acquisition has never really been a high priority ever for Free Talk Live, like in terms of, how you've ever structured advertising and things.
Once upon a time, we did experiment with Google ads and also Facebook ads.
Right.
And I never really felt like they were particularly effective.
Well, one thing that you've done is you've hired, for example, Daryl to do outreach to acquire stations.
To call stations.
To call stations and do that. So
you get a radio station, you've gotten listeners, right?
Right. Very well, yeah, to a certain extent. You're not necessarily, it's quantity over quality, and you're just kind of like exposing yourself to to an audience, and, maybe or maybe not. But the thought that I would have is, what if you somehow were able to invest AMP dollars into not only just listener acquisition, but also listener experience. So, one of the things that you've talked about on Free Talk Live for the longest time is not ever being able to afford to do any kind of production, not being able to do any kind of, a lot of things that would be kind of benefits for a listener, or, in a listener-oriented way. Maybe taking some of that money and investing in that way, which might be kind of build upon itself over time.
When you say production, do you mean like whiz-bang noises and that kind of production?
Not necessarily, like putting together, okay, for example, I think for a while, and I don't even know if it exists anymore, you had the call-in, the message line.
That's still there.
Editing those clips and putting them together, if people call in.
And I'm admittedly behind on listening to them. They're frequently like 1 second hang-ups, so try to filter those out.
But having somebody, listen to those and, take the best ones or take them all or whatever and edit that together for you. That kind of thing. Stuff that might be good for the show, good for the listener, like things, just all sorts of different stuff that might be geared in that direction.
As far as production goes, what I'd really like to do is have, there's segments on Free Talk Live that are epic. And we have a system for distributing short video and audio clips on the internet. We call it Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
If we could get somebody to do some editing of those things, then again, we don't have the money to do it, and we certainly don't have the time to do it ourselves. But if somebody would edit those things, I could share them on the Facebook page, and they get traffic. They get a lot of traffic on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So I would presume if people are listening that they might very well. They hear the clip, then they might very well start listening more downloads. We used to have incredible dominance on Facebook. We had as many as 18 million post views in a week, and that's pretty darn good. We're not getting that anymore.
Well, that's because the guy who was there decided to quit, and the other one died. So
that's correct.
But we weren't paying either of them.
Right.
It was just, here's this thing that you can use to kind of put your libertarian views out there and get us some exposure.
Right. Working with Free Talk Live is a great way to to spread the ideas of liberty with much more success than, say, handing out leaflets at your local courthouse or something.
I mean, a lot of what I've said sort of about the AMP program and bolstering the AMP program is hey, we kind of, like what benefits, like not even just tangible little benefits can be provided to the listener or to the amplifier for being a part of that program, or just to all of the listeners for the the benefit coming from the amplifier or from the AMP program. And a lot of the things that I've suggested over time, and it, admittedly makes sense. They're just not feasible because there's just not anyone to do it. And
well, if we put
maybe
the money
a little bit of
out,
money would happen, it could be made to happen, and maybe that's time. Maybe it's time for that to happen. It's never really been tried, and it's a suggestion I've kind of had bouncing around for a really long time, and it's like, well, why don't we try it? Because I feel like it could be, even if it's just a little percentage. It's kind of like one of those investments that just
could pay dividends
because as it grows and upon itself, it could be amplify. It could amplify itself. It's one of those things where it's like if you start making the listeners happy, you might get more amplifiers over time, and then it would be again, build upon.
It was interesting. We actually got an email. I won't say who it was from, but it was from a former amplifier today who just recently decided to stop. And it kind of explaining why that was. And he actually cited the Free State Project dumping Free Talk Live as a reason that he stopped amping the show. One of them was
dump Free Talk Live too because I can't think for myself.
No. He's actually a very thoughtful person who has been a very helpful person behind the scenes of the show. But it was a surprise to me because I thought, well, why would that have any effect on anybody? Because the Free State Project board making a dumb decision hasn't affected Free Talk Live. I mean, we're still on 160 stations. We're still encouraging people to move to New Hampshire. But I don't know. There was just something that was important about that.
He also cited the Free State Project hitting its 20,000 goal, and that basically the fun of it all is over. And I would concur with that. That
I disagree. The fun has just started.
Yeah.
People are moving here every week.
Some people are interested in the number. The Free State Project was a goal to get 20,000 people to sign up to move to New Hampshire.
As far as I'm concerned, the Free State Project is an utter disaster until 20,000 people have moved. And right now, I consider the Free State Project. I'm sorry. Actually, yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Nope. It's a project to get people to sign up.
It was a project
and move.
Well,
that was what the pledge was.
Yeah,
and until 20,000 people have moved, as far as I'm concerned, or until we've achieved freedom, whichever comes first. Gee, I wonder which one that will be. I don't consider it a success. And with the rate of exit, right? There have been a lot of people that have left.
Yeah.
And the counts are dismal. We don't know. And so, as far as I'm concerned, the Free State Project has become, in my mind, a complete joke.
It's irrelevant. It really, is.
Without there being accurate counts, which they refuse to even I don't know what their what their level is or how accurately they've been counting and whether or not they've even tried to figure out who's left and who's not. Whether or not they would want to figure out how many people are actually in the state. There's not even an attempt being made, and so I think it's just at this point it's kind of ridiculous.
To me, it's more interesting to look at what the Libertarian Party is doing here now with its successes. We were just talking with
the Hampshire Liberty Alliance.
Activism is all there is. It's, you say, "Oh, you're focused on the activism." Well, okay, yeah, because that's
why. Yeah, we want people to
now.
move here. That's what attracts people here. It wasn't the idea that a bunch of other people had signed. It was the activism that was really what I think.
Sorry, the name
people
of
to
the project was the Free State Project. Where's the Free State? Oh, it's still a project.
Right, you got to work on that.
Until we have acquired a free state, the Free State Project still exists in my mind.
So, and one of the other complaints was, Mark, last year you were upset, you were frustrated, you kind of made this ultimatum like, if AMP doesn't make a certain amount of money, then I'm not coming back on the air. And AMPers or people kicked into the AMP program, and it made a certain amount, but not the amount you had looked for. And you did come back, but only part-time. You were on like a few days, 2-3 days a week or something like that. And he felt that was disingenuous, and you did respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's genuine. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm
yeah, you really were burnt out. You really were
frustrated,
the way you were.
Upset, all those things. And to me, since the AMP program is money that I don't control, right? It's not Free Talk Live's money, and people really look at it that way, that it's Free Talk Live's money. It's not.
If you controlled it, you never would have supported the satellite stuff.
It's true. You and I have disagreed on the satellite feed.
But that was legit. That really was legit. We didn't know for sure when you were going to come back or how often you'd be back on. I kind of predicted that you would come back because you love being behind the microphone, but I didn't know how much you were going to come back, and that really was a sort of this ongoing midlife crisis that you've been experiencing. You've been all over the map.
You'd love to call it that, but I can't rebut the statement either.
No, I know you can't.
I'm insulted by it, but I can't rebut it.
It's a thing apparently for a lot of people, a lot of men or whatever in the age range that you are. So anyway, we'll have more to say about the AMP program
of a certain age,
and I do think that we need to try new things, Johnson. And so one of the things I'm doing, probably within the next couple of days, is working on a video for a Patreon to separate out the satellite stuff. Because not everybody is on board with spreading the message globally. Some people really just want it to be here in the United States.
The internet is a global thing.
Yep, there's more coming up here tomorrow. You'll see it online. In the meantime, freetalklive.com. Amp the show at amp.freetalklive.com. Thank you.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated. So send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, May 16th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,234 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,742. Antiwar.com reports U.S. officials have long insisted that Syria's Assad government is carrying out mass executions of detainees throughout the civil war, but the lack of evidence for mass graves has forced the U.S. to shift its narrative, now claiming that a crematorium built outside of Damascus could be the key. The U.S. State Department is now claiming that the mass executions are being carried out with the unconditional support of Iran and Russia, and that the Syrian military is hanging detainees en masse and just throwing them all into the crematorium to cover up the evidence. There's no evidence backing these claims up, of course, apart from satellite photos on the outside of the crematorium, and U.S. officials rather just rehashed a series of things they think may well be happening in Syrian prison, including torture and rape, followed up with a speedy execution and disposal. Indeed, the State Department officials conceded that the whole reason they came up with this new statement was because Russia's foreign minister visited the U.S. last week, and the U.S. wanted to reiterate that there needs to be a regime change in Syria despite Russian opposition. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear an appeal of a lower court ruling that struck down North Carolina's voter identification law. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the two-page ruling, noting the court's decision not to hear the case should not be considered a judgment on the case's merits. Roberts wrote, "Given the blizzard of filings over who is and who is not authorized to seek review in this court under North Carolina law, it is important to recall our frequent admonition that the denial of a petition imports no expression of opinions of the merits of the case." The High Court left in place a Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that struck down the controversial 2013 law by North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature and signed by Governor Pat McCrory, also a Republican, who was defeated in November. The judge found that the state's ballot restrictions targeted black voters with almost surgical precision. The legislation restricted voting and registration in 5 ways, which disproportionately affected minority voters, according to the lower court. They required voters to present an approved form of photo identification before casting a valid ballot, cut early voting from 17 to 10 days, eliminated out-of-precinct voting, ended same-day registration and voting, and did not allow pre-registration by 16-year-olds. It would have taken 4 justices to consider the case. Last summer, the justices were divided 4-4 on a request to allow the law to go forward in the election. The state's new governor, Democrat Roy Cooper, has sought to dismiss the appeal. Cooper said in a statement, "Today's announcement is good news for North Carolina voters. We need to be making it easier to vote, not harder, and the court found this law sought to discriminate against African-American voters with surgical precision. I will continue to work to protect the rights of every legal registered North Carolinian to participate in our democratic process." The Southern Coalition for Social Justice and the American Civil Liberties Union also applauded Monday's decision. Del Ho, director of the ACLU's Voting Rights Project, said in a statement, "This law, enacted with what the appeals court called discriminatory intent and almost surgical precision, targeted African-American voters, is meeting its much-deserved demise. An ugly chapter in voting suppression is finally closing." Ballot Access News adds, on May 15th, the U.S. Supreme Court revealed that at its May 11th conference, it had refused to hear all 4 election law cases before it. In addition to the North Carolina case, the court also refused to hear Louisiana Party of Kentucky v. Grimes, thus continuing its 26-year record of refusing all petitions from minor parties and independent candidates that concern election law, unless the major parties were also in the same case. The issue was the state's restrictive definition of political party, one which requires certain support in a presidential race. The court also refused to hear a pair of cases against open primaries brought by the Montana Republican Party and Hawaii Democratic Party. Next week, the Supreme Court may reveal whether it will hear the Republican Party of Louisiana v. FEC case over federal campaign finance laws that inhibit contributions to state and local parties. Soon, it will act on Gill v. Whitford over Wisconsin's partisan legislative gerrymander. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Sources are confirming that a man currently on a very intense cell phone call has been walking down the same city block for the past 45 minutes, periodically shaking his head and speaking brusquely to the individual on the other line.
Please, just give me 1 second to make one point.
Onlookers speculate that the man is in his early 30s and is either talking to a coworker, boss, or possibly his wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, attorney, or some sort of client of some kind.
They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Thus far, the man has walked by the same cafe over 10 times.
You know, when I was coming in, I heard him say, "You're just not listening. That's the problem." So
Sounds like a pretty frustrating phone call. He's running his hand through his hair again.
I cannot believe this. I literally cannot believe this.
In addition to poking the air when making a point, the frustrated man has also been observed repeatedly massaging his forehead. Thus far, it remains unclear where the man was headed before taking his call, or whether or not the call itself is making him late for something.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
No fear! No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence. Me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms of the Nest, Phoenix, David Seltzer. David is going to help us understand everything about organic farming and what the man does not like about it. Nope, you're not allowed to be organic because we got a shiny badge and, and guns and stuff. Well, we're going to find out all about it. David Stelzer is representing AzureStandard.com, Azure Organic Farm, AZURE Standard.com. Go check it out. And then we got calls from several people over the week. Man, you got to do something. Well, Donna did something. She had on the show today. We're taking off tomorrow. We're going to be gone for a week. We're doing. Oh, and make sure you tell Allison. Send an email to Allison. And what we want to do is all the networks, we have prepared shows over the last week or so that we're going to be doing reruns. Thursday, Dr. Frank's going to come in and do Trump Report all by his lonesome. Trump Report. That'll be of interest to many people, and he's going to have some fun. He's got big plans for you. Now, in the first hour, David Stelzer, we're going to talk about Azure Organic Farms, what's going on there. In the second hour, Theo Chino is an activist that sued the government. Chino versus Department of Financial Services, the New York Bitcoin regulation. When that came out, he had a small window, a couple months there to sue and kind of do. That's been going through the process for a long time. When Morpheus got arrested, allegedly for doing Bitcoin transactions or so, said what? I said what? So I got a lot of people contacting me, sending me a bunch of information, a lot of cases going on around the country. We're going to walk our way through them. That will be of interest. And, of course, Dr. Judy Mikovits in the third hour on updates on the CDC and vaccine. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, man, they don't like it none too much. They got this one, Boston Herald. They got a rally. It's coming up today, yesterday, I think soon. There's going to be a rally in front of the Boston Herald because they're saying, it's a hanging offense. They actually said this should be a hanging offense for advocating for a healthy lifestyle. Parents, no vaccines. We shoot. No, we're good. We don't want to mess up the kid. No, hell no. This is like I don't know. It's a philosophy that we're up against. David Stelzer, I'll make sure I get that right, is an organic food and health soil pioneer. His family have farmed in the Pacific Northwest for over 100 years, and he is the founder and CEO of Azure Farm and Azure Standard, a leading producer and nationwide distributor of natural, organic, and non-GMO foods. David first started farming organically as a teenager in the 70s, and his passion for providing nourishing, healthful foods grown in healthy soil without the use of harmful chemicals has continued to grow since then. He first started selling grain grown on the family farm at the age of 21 from the back of his old pickup truck across the Pacific Northwest. In 1987, this successful adventure grew into Azure. Now, they've got a distribution network of over 38 states. Well, heck, for, what was this, decades? Well, obviously they're doing something wrong. Let's go ahead and find out what that wrong is. David, I got you there?
You do.
David?
Hello.
David, this is all too common a theme, man. You one of the last guys, like Bundy Ranch or something? You're one of the guys holding out, against the man, and they're going to explain it to you?
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's that exactly like that. It just, it's a place where, there's tremendous, I guess maybe ignorance on the part of the good old boys in the county, or whatever, however you want to put that.
Yeah, okay, let's put that. Who are you up against? Is it individuals? Is it competition? I mean, I know the face is some guy with a shiny badge, but I mean, what do you think you're really up against?
Well, the real bottom line is that we're like pretty much alone in the county as far as organic. There are two other organic growers, but very small. Compared to in Oregon, organic is a big deal. There's a lot of organic growers in this state.
Yeah.
But in this county, we're kind of alone, and have been for a long time. We've been farming on that piece of land for organic for about 18 years. We've been farming organic, on our original farm since 1973. So it's not like it's a new concept for us, for sure.
Well, when you say organic, this is one thing we've gone through, our own growing. We have, a little bit more. We have a couple acres here in Phoenix. It's like a little horse property. So we got, aquaponics, and we had goats, but they eat your trees, so screw them. But bunch of chickens. We probably got 60, 70 chickens. So we're, kind of in an urban area, but we understand the value of clean. I know what I put in it, and this is kind of no spraying of food. Okay, so I'm going, yeah, this is important, and that doesn't factor into this at all. I mean, you're going, no, we don't want to put that. No, that's the whole point. No, and they go, yes, and I'm wondering what the push is behind that.
Well, I think initially, as in most government things that come down, it originally got fired by a neighbor complaint. Now, at least in my world, typically the way I've worked with neighbors before, but it's been very hard in that county, is, hey, if we want to talk about something, we sit it down over the dinner table,
No, you got to have a lawn Nazi come out first. Lawn Nazis.
But no, it doesn't happen that way. We get official notification from initially from county court, and then from Weedmaster, and now ODA, that we have to use. So there's a statute, kind of started in 1942, got updated in 2001. Anyway, there's a statute on the books that says we have to control, or that landowners must control noxious weeds in the best way possible.
And they get to determine what that is.
Well, they're trying. That's the thing. The best way possible for us may not be the best way possible for somebody else.
Yeah, no,
and for me, using toxic herbicides is just flat not an option. Not only will it, destroy our organic certification, but it completely destroys the whole concept of what we've been trying to do with the land for 18 years.
Yeah, okay, we're going into break here real quick. This has been a good intro, and when we come back, the first thing I want to discuss is this term organic, because I mean, I know what it used to mean, and then you get the government involved and they redefine it, and I always go, look, I just want virgin food, and they go, well, what do you mean virgin food? I don't know, it's not screwed with, I mean, if you screw with it, it's not virgin anymore. So they're going to be screwing with the land. And we're talking how many acres? 1,000 a year?
Closer to 2,000, actually.
2,000 acres of organic, by David's definition. We're going to find out what that is when we come back. And I want to make sure that, we do what we can just to, give this, can we give health a chance? I mean, let's make it an option for people. Well, we have 3 more segments. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty and the history of and how this affects what your customers have had to say. And
uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Roads, it's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Or food poisoning before it even is food. I mean, damn. They'll say, no, we got to get them when they're young. Got to get them even before they're born. Got to get them with, hell, we vaccinate the moms while they're pregnant. It's just this deluge of pollution. And anybody making the argument or certainly demonstrating for decades that you can do this, I'm two thumbs up. Let's find out what's really going on. Now, what's happened is you have somebody complained. It doesn't matter. They will tell you who. I've had the same kind of thing. Hey, your trailer's parked on the wrong kind of rock. I mean, that kind of crap. And you go, yeah, who complained? Nobody's complained. Yeah, so that's confidential. And our drone complained. That kind of. Okay, I get it. It's a shiny badge thing. So now that this has come out, the Azure Farms is, they're counted on being organic, and I'm looking at that word organic. Now, I'm just like, the government gets in, they start redefining what organic means. And I go, I don't, that's it. So, David, help me out. We're talking to David Stelzer, from Azure Farm, and I just want to know what organic means. When you say certified by whom? And it used to be that government didn't have anything to do with this, so now they do. And help me with that definition and where that comes from.
Well, I can give you the definition that the government gives, or I can give you my definition.
Okay, now that's evolved, okay? I mean, your definition, and then I remember organic was kind of this hippie word that came from Oregon that the government didn't have anything to do with until they wanted to say, no, you also, Land O'Lakes of whomever you are, can say organic if you don't use so much poison or something. I mean, so go by your definition and how it's evolved with the government.
Okay, well, true organic, the government definition of organic is just that you have the appropriate paperwork to show you didn't use certain toxic chemicals. And it's a ton better than conventional. Even the government definition is a huge step in the right direction. However, with real organic farming is really, what you get down to it, is biological farming. It's where the nutrients that we use for the plant are derived from the soil, from natural minerals that make the microbes, the little tiny bugs in the soil, active. The bugs in the soil, those microbes, talking bacteria, protozoa, nematodes, and so on, those are the things that actually create the nutrients for the plant in a natural environment. In the prairies where the grass used to grow 6 feet, 10 feet tall sometimes, it was those bacteria that created the nitrogen and all the nutrients for that to happen. Those bacteria still live today, and as an organic farmer, what we do is that we try to create a healthy environment for those bacteria to produce the nutrients that our plant needs. The difference with organic farming is that we're creating the nutrients through the bacteria, whereas in conventional farming, they typically look at only 3 nutrients, N, P, and K. So when you look at the human health and the human body,
okay, NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and what's K?
Phosphorus.
Okay, nitrogen, phosphorus, and what else?
Potassium.
Okay, so K is phosphorus. All right. So these 3, that's why all this guano stuff or artificial fertilizers, and they're just getting these. Why those main 3, and why did the natural bacteria in the soil kind of go away with farming? What was the reasoning?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Well, first of all, nitrogen is the growth regulator. That's the N. The nitrogen is the growth regulator, so the more nitrogen you have, the bigger the plant grows. The bigger the plant grows, typically the more yield you get. So the other 2 are there to support the nitrogen. Otherwise, the plant just, what we call, burns out. It dies.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, a lot of other nutrients. So so that's why conventional agriculture has honed in on those 3, because they're the growth regulator. They make the plant grow bigger.
So if they were to stop, what would happen? I mean, does it, because they killed all the microbes, the plants just die? They have to have it. How long would it take to recover? If you get this kind of chemical, is it going to? I mean, you see my point. I'm just wondering what their reasoning is, for not doing organic farming. We've been covering this for a long time. It keeps the soil replenished. You rotate crops. All that. I mean, is that just gone? Is it universities? Is it corporations? I'm just trying to understand why you're such a threat. I mean, we'll get into the weeds thing, but organic farming in general and big corporate farms, they do this. And I just found out just recently that they herbicide the wheat to turn it all brown so they can harvest it easier at the last, moment. And now we're all glyphosated up because they're trying to make their combines work better or something.
That is absolutely correct. Not necessarily here locally, but in the northern tiers. And that is absolutely correct. And the thing is that, I guess as far as the free market economy goes, from a farmer's perspective, in the conventional world, they're only being paid for volume, not for quality. So it doesn't really matter. The other thing that we have is, farming is highly subsidized. And if you are not using best practices, then